Welcome in, everybody. Happy hump day to you. Do we have a busy show for you? Guest-wise, topic-wise? Man, yesterday there was just news after news after news. Welcome in, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. It is now pool time. Today's going to feel like you need to dip in the pool. It's going to be 85 for a high, so that feeling you get the end of spring and then summer, it's coming. That oppressive heat is coming. So they're booking pool installations for 2025. They got all types of great deals on your pool accessories, liners starting at $299. Plus, if you're looking for hot tubs or swim spas or cold plunge tubs, patio furniture sets, all discounted at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's the Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 edition of the program. As I said, it's going to be hot today. Right now, it's 69 degrees. Going to get up to 85 today. Sunshine and clouds mixed tonight. 71 degrees, partly cloudy skies. And then tomorrow for your Thursday looks to be cloudy, although rain not in the forecast. Only about a 9% chance. 84 for your high on Thursday. Like I said, lots happening in the world of sports. We're going to dive right into it. But first, let me give you the guest lineup for today. DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal at 8:05 on all things Grizzlies in the NBA. At 8:25, former Memphis Tigers head coach, now head coach of the UNLV Runnin' Rebels, Josh Pastner. Could you get any different than Josh Pastner and Jerry Tarkanian? Steve Sands at 9:05 will join us from the Golf Channel on NBC as we preview the PGA Championship Golf Second Major, which gets underway tomorrow from Charlotte and Quail Hollow. And then at 9:25, a lot of Memphis Tiger basketball news we'll dive into with Parthu Pajai from the Daily Memphian. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. Good morning.
Good morning.
Boy, it was a busy day, wasn't it, yesterday?
That was an interesting day yesterday. A lot of things happening, things going down in the world.
Yeah, a lot of things also that affect our region, our local area, and we'll talk about that in a second. Elijah Seegers, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it was a very eventful day yesterday, to say the least, so I'm really looking forward to these next 3 hours.
Of course, the NBA playoffs rolling right along, and we'll get into that here in just a second. I wanted to start off something completely off the board, but I just love these feel-good stories. So last night, Auburn is playing Birmingham Southern. They're playing, it's a midweek game before they play their SEC games this weekend. I'm trying to figure out who they're playing. Let me see. It is Jacksonville State. Okay. So they have a player by the name of Andrew Dutton. You may remember this story from last year. Remember Birmingham Southern was going belly up, the program and the school, right? It was the final year for the school, if I'm not mistaken. They were going belly up, and the baseball team was really, really good. So they went to the Division III College Baseball World Series. And then that was it for the school, the program. So all these athletes, whatever sport it may be, had to find new homes. So Auburn brings in this kid named Andrew Dutton. They bring him in. He leads Birmingham Southern to the World Series last year. Really good player. He was the first base coach for Auburn. Now, I don't know if he was injured or what have you, but that's what he was. He was the first base coach. But I guess where he was able to play, I mean, he was an active scholarship player, I believe, but he wasn't playing. He didn't play at all. He coached first base. So last night, they brought him in as a pinch hitter. I think he's a pinch hitter, right? I don't think he started. But anyway, his first at bat, he hits a mammoth home run. Absolutely crushed it. And the video is great because the players, the fans, the coaches are just going bonkers for this young man who, again, had to go through an awful lot and really didn't have a chance. Yeah, this was late in the game because that made it Auburn 19, Jacksonville State 0. So, again, I don't know the reason, Eli, why he didn't get any opportunities, but he absolutely bashed it. Did you see this video?
I did not.
It's really, really cool. Take a look at it if you get a chance, but the guy's name is Andrew Dutton. Last year, Birmingham Southern. This year, the Auburn Tigers. Okay, Where to start? My gosh, from the NBA to college basketball to the NFL. Of course, today is reveal day. We'll find out the complete schedule. They just announced your Cowboys and the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. Wow.
Yeah, that's an interesting little Thanksgiving Day afternoon matchup.
Not too shabby.
The folks at CBS, I'm going to guess, are pretty happy to have that as their Thanksgiving Day game.
Pat and Dak. Sounds like a detective show that's coming to CBS this fall. All right, so we begin with all the news that was out there yesterday about the University of Memphis and the men's basketball program. News certainly that was reiterated by John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks' annual spring visit to Memphis as they were here yesterday. And John Calipari talking about the strong possibility, and it was echoed in a couple of other reports that were out there in the media world, that the Memphis Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks will play an exhibition game at FedEx Forum, and that will be the game to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, not unlike the game last year, which featured Memphis and North Carolina. Memphis also played an exhibition game against Alabama in Huntsville, Alabama. But we haven't heard yet about the exhibition games until this was brought up, and Cal said that that is a strong possibility. Now, he would go on to say that for him to do that, for them to do that, they want, he said, some of his players to be honored. I think what he's talking about is the 2008 NCAA runner-up team. And I tweeted out saying, look, Cal, do it for St. Jude. Don't ask for anything in return. But he's absolutely right that 08 team, and we've had Antonio Anderson and Robert Dozier and other guys, Chris Douglas Roberts on the show talking about that. But I guess if you could kill two birds with one stone, it makes sense, all for a great cause. Cal's not going to do a regular season game here in Memphis. It's just not going to happen. But to have John Calipari back for the first time since 08, or when he left after did he stay one more season after that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so after 09, that would be really cool. In the same year when Josh Pastor, who will be joining us today at 8:25, also returns with UNLV, I think that is going to be special, albeit an exhibition game. But like I said, Eli, for a worthy cause, and Calipari and Arkansas, looks like that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly be great. That game last year against North Carolina, obviously, was part of the doubleheader with the women playing South Carolina. Ticket sales were, I think, probably a little disappointing.
They were.
For that. So bringing Cal, Arkansas, obviously, lots of Arkansas fans in the area as well. So you would hope that a game like that, even though being an exhibition, would be able to draw a good crowd, sell a lot of tickets, and raise a lot of money for St. Jude. So, yeah, that would be a fun matchup for them to put together for this year to try and up those ticket sales.
In the meantime, and we've heard these rumors for days about the possibility of Alabama being a home-and-home series. Not an exhibition, but a regular season game. The possibility of the return of Missouri to the schedule, which Memphis has played a lot recently. So we'll see what happens with that. There's still several openings for the Memphis schedule, and it's still, I think, vital for them to add a really good, if not two really good opponents for the home schedule. And so there's a lot of rumors going out there. From one of my sources, they talked about the possibility, and I'm not sure if it would be for this year, maybe, but the possibility of rekindling that Gonzaga relationship for multiple years. And we've discussed this before, Nolan Smith's connection to Duke, that certainly they would love to have that type of series. Not sure if Shire wants to do it, but that's a possibility. Also, it looks more like Memphis will try to schedule a February game when they have that 1 week where they don't only have the one conference game, to play a tough opponent to get them more ready for the NCAA tournament. Again, assuming all systems go for the tournament. So there's a lot of things happening right now with the schedule, but also a lot of things happening with the roster. Yesterday we talked about the visit that Curtis Givens III was expected to be there yesterday. I assume he was, or in the next couple of days. I don't have all the details. I'm just going off the stories that I read. But he's the Memphis kid who played at LSU last year and had looked at Memphis, had made an official visit to Memphis before going to LSU, but in the portal this year. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. But we did find out yesterday that a guy named Mason Matthews, who's also known as Eminem in the rap world. No, not Mason Mathers, but 6'8" forward Mason Matthews from Lane College has committed to Memphis. And people on the internet were like, is this a walk-on? No, this is a scholarship guy. This is a young man who has been around and has played a lot of basketball. He has been before he went to Lane, he was at Tyler Junior College. He's also been at Southwestern Tennessee here in Memphis. He's been at Clark. So he has played with a number of programs at smaller or lower levels. But he's a good three-point shooter, 6'8", rangy. Again, Memphis is lacking size, but he is, according to the math, the 11th player to sign a scholarship with the University of Memphis. There is still a couple of openings remaining. The hope still is for Dane Danger to get the waiver. It looks like, and it feels like for me, it's been weeks, but the P.J. Haggerty train has left the building and isn't coming back. But we'll see about that. We'll give you some Haggerty notes from the draft combine in just a second. But there's also, I heard, where there's the possibility that the roster could increase once they can get this revenue sharing situation figured out. Once the judge makes her final decision, if they can avoid the courts, then maybe the roster goes up to 15 or something like that. I was reading.
I mean, again, I assume the roster number for basketball is 15, and with the new thing, that means you could do 15 scholarships if you choose to do so.
Yeah, so there's a lot of possibilities that remain, but it is the most eclectic roster that I've seen maybe since I've been here in Memphis, and certainly with Penny, meaning you have guys that played junior college, Division II, a guy who was with the team 2 years ago, his son Ashton, and is back. Just a mixing and matching of a bunch of guys, a lot more guards than bigs, guys that played at big programs, guys that played at small programs. This is the challenge. And Calipari actually talked about that yesterday. I saw a clip from Mike Sadie with Channel 3, News Channel 3, with him talking about how he applauded Penny Hardaway for what he has done, putting together all new rosters every single year. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the situation it has been for several years now. Now, some guys have been shown the door, but for other guys, especially this past year's team, I'm sure they would have loved to keep P.J. Carter. I think a guy like Baraka Okogie was told to, take a look at other things. And then you have the weird situation with Danger and the wait and see with Haggerty. So that's what you have with Memphis. But a lot of news that we'll talk about with Parthu Pajai, who will join us at 9:25. So I think in the next coming weeks, month, we'll have a lot more news from roster to schedule. But Haggerty, you're right, Eli. Yesterday you were saying that they won't play game scrimmages until today. That starts today in Chicago, and that's correct. But yesterday they had shooting drills. And when it was all said and done, P.J. Haggerty had a really good day shooting the basketball, according to the numbers that Jonathan Gavoni had posted. I think he had the fourth best of all these players in the combined shooting drills.
That's one of the things he's going to have to show. I don't know that maybe he could get himself into the second round somewhere for sure, whatever. But if teams are number one thing in basketball anymore is certainly shooting, being able to shoot the three. You can see it at every level, and for him, he's going to have to be able to be a consistent 3-point shooter at the NBA level, and going to have to show that in this and individual workouts, other things to grab the attention and see if that can earn him a spot somewhere. But yeah, good for him. Go in there, and that's one of the key things you got to do. Just shoot.
NBA combine drills is what they called it. It's an aggregate of all the shots taken. And according to Gavoni, Mark Sears was easily the best at 83%. He said he was sizzling. Chaz Lanier from Tennessee at 77%. Ryan Nembhard at 73%. If your last name's Nembhard, I think you're good. You're automatically good. And then 73% also for P.J. Haggerty. So a good showing. By the way, Yaxel Lendeborg, 69%. He's a guy right now who's penciled in as a first rounder and seems to be moving up the boards. You wanted to know about the measurements for P.J. Haggerty? 6'2" and a quarter in his bare feet. Obviously, you don't play in your bare feet. He has a 6 foot 6.5 inch wingspan. He has an 8 foot 1.5 inch standing reach.
Well, the problem is that 6'2" and a quarter. I mean, that's, again, he's, if he was 6'5", 6'6", he would be, with his abilities, I think a certain NBA player that size, that's what he's going to have to be, a point guard in the NBA. And it's whether he can show those point guard abilities. It's going to be on the defensive end, who can he guard? I mean, they're that just pure size-wise, that's a lot of questions for him.
It is. And that's what he's trying to answer some of those questions, but he's not getting that opportunity to play point. It doesn't appear. And that's what he wants to do if he's back in college, is to show that he can play point, facilitate, run the offense. Even though he had the ball a lot in his hands with Memphis, not always the best decision maker. He was a scorer, but now he's proven, again, he can shoot. And that's important. So that's one step, but there's other steps to get him, I think, into a more favorable opinion of NBA personnel. And we'll find out more as that information becomes available from those that are there, and all the teams are represented scouting these players. Speaking of players that were at the Combine, Boogie Flan participated, I think, for a day, and that's it. He will not continue at the Combine, according to his agent, our friend, Mike Miller, who is representing Boogie Flan, who played for John Calipari at Arkansas last year. So he's going to go back to college. And there's no guarantee he's going back to Arkansas. So now we go back to that original report from Bo Mattingly. It was one of the days you were off, who covers Arkansas, and he said, oh, you were here? Okay. But Boogie Flan was going to drop out of the Combine, and then there was the astronomical amount of money that we were reading that Florida was supposedly going to offer him. And that was shot down. Left, right, left, right, left, right. And I don't think he responded to that. But here's Boogie. The first step, going back to college. Now, what can he get on the open market? And I don't know what Calipari is thinking, and I just have a feeling that Flan is going to be able to wrestle up more money somewhere else, and maybe he's looking for a new landing spot for that, what will hopefully be for him that last year to be ready for the draft in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, he entered the portal to shop himself around. I don't think he'll get $7 million anywhere, but Boogie Flan certainly will be attractive to a lot of teams, and I'm sure will get paid very handsomely, whether it be at Arkansas or elsewhere. Boogie Flan's going to be doing all right this season.
All right, we'll take our first break. When we come back, we got Grizzlies news, NBA playoff action from last night we'll get into, and the big Major League Baseball bomb that was dropped by Commissioner Rob Manfred. We'll do that. To Michael Cole at 8:05, Josh Pastor at 8:25. We'll talk PGA Championship with Steve Sands at 9:05, and more on the Tigers at 9:25 with Parth Upadhyay. The latest from the NFL as well. Just a busy, busy show, so stick around. I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, and that's Shoot 360 Memphis. For the basketball lover in your family, I'm sure there's multiple kids or grandchildren or nieces or nephews or maybe yourself. You're a youngin' listening to the program, young adult, you want to go over there and get your shots up, you could do so at Shoot 360 Memphis, but it is a exceptional place for you to become a better all-around talent in basketball, but in particular, a better shooter. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility. It combines cutting-edge technology with gamification, so you're having fun while doing so, but also you're getting that instant objective feedback with the numbers, the analytics, and the hands-on one-on-one expert coaching from coaches that have coached at all different levels, including the NBA, former Grizzlies assistant Scott Adebayo, part of that staff. And you can become a member by going online to Shoot 360 Memphis. Monthly memberships are available, but you can also stop by and see them or call them and get it all done over the phone. They are in Cordova and they are in Collierville. You can become a member at both or either. In Cordova, Big Orange Road, the number 901-779-3176. In Collierville, 85 Market Street, 901-316-5500. As I always advise, do yourself a favor, go there, set up a tour, have them show you the entire facility. You've never seen anything like it when it comes to basketball training. And for you coaches out there, they offer up free coaching clinics, so make sure you contact them for the next clinic available. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis. Just underway on a hump day. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platform.
Price guarantee. So whether you're looking to a rivalry or just want a weekend experience, you'll pay less. Take Pick gives you all-in-one pricing and the lowest price guarantee. They're so confident they back it up with their best price guarantee. Visit TakePick.com and score your season before the best matchups are gone. $10 off your NFL order with code FS10 on the TakePick app.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a mess over here as they clean up this truck crash. It happened earlier this morning. It's slow in both directions, 40 east and west at Jackson there at Ossipee Highway. They crashed over in the eastbound lanes earlier this morning when it was dark. Again, what a backup over here this morning during rush hour traffic on 40 around Jackson, Ossipee Highway. Just be aware of big backups over here in both directions. It's starting to build even more on Bill Morris as you get on to 240. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says, not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions here in Memphis, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 morning on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:26 the time. I knew there was going to be somebody that was going to suggest that Nico Harrison trade the number 1 pick, which is going to be Cooper Flagg, and it ends up being Jay Williams of ESPN, who has had some outlandish takes in his past. Look, I understand what he's trying to say. He's thinking you may be able to package a deal to get a Giannis if he's on the trading block, to maybe get Devin Booker. He even mentions Tyrese Maxey. Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, and most importantly, Nico Harrison, they're ready to kill him in Dallas, for lack of a better term. You trade that away, and they are going to actually kill him. That is suicide. So I don't know what he's thinking there. Second of all, and I hate to bring up black and white, but you traded Luka, you pissed off the fan base because he's great, not because he's white, but it doesn't hurt when it comes to that with the fan base. And then you bring in now another guy who happens to be white, and you're going to trade him. That's not going to sit well either. I hate to do it, but that's, it's part of it. Again, the premise of packaging for Giannis is not stupid, but it's not the time, it's not the place, it's not the move if Nico Harrison wants to continue to be the general manager and a decision maker for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I said yesterday, they're not trading. I think it would be dumb. You've got a guy on a rookie contract for the next 5 years who everybody believes is going to step right in the league and be really, really good. Why would you possibly give that up?
Well,
you've already got pieces in place around him where he can step in and you can win. You're prepared to win with adding that guy to your roster.
Well, I can't speak for him, but I'm assuming he's looking at proven versus unproven. And Giannis is one of the best players on the planet. But again, it's suicide. You might as well give your resignation letter while making the trade to the owners of the Mavericks if that were to happen. It's not going to happen. The Grizzlies, in the meantime, and we'll talk to DeMichael Cole at 8:05. There was a story yesterday that was going around. I've never heard of this dude, and then it was quickly refuted, but some player named TJ Shorts, who is a EuroLeague player, expected to join the Grizzlies for Summer League and potentially training camp. Supposedly a really good player, but he's 5'9". 18.7 points, 7.5 assists in the EuroLeague. That's some good numbers. At 5'9", can you imagine a backcourt? Why don't we just get it over with? Put Yuki, Ja, and this guy as the backcourt for the Grizzlies. But anyway, that was kind of refuted. And now, I guess it still could happen, but we'll talk to DeMichael and ask him about that as well. On the court, last night you had 2 games, but the big news was off the court. As we speculated, Jason Tatum ruptured right Achilles tendon, already had surgery yesterday. By the time the news came down, he had already gone under the knife. So already it begins the long road back for Jason Tatum.
Yeah, again, it didn't really take a doctor or staying at a Holiday Inn Express to figure out what that injury was going to be. I mean, there was really only one logical thing it could possibly have been. Terrible for him, terrible for the Celtics. And, yeah, we'll see. You know, it's generally thought to be, you know, close to a year usually for guys to come back fully from an Achilles injury, which would obviously put him out for the entirety of the next regular season for sure. You know, he's, you know, younger guy, so maybe he can recover a little faster. I don't know. I mean, and depending on how the season's going for the Celtics, would you even try and bring him back anyway next year? But that is, it forces them into a lot of off-season decisions that they've got to make. There's it's got a lot of implications if he's going to miss all of next season.
We're months away from the new season, and already you know Kyrie Irving's going to miss a bunch of time early in the season. I think he is expected back at some time. Dame Lillard will probably miss the entire season, and Jason Tatum a good portion, if not the entire season. That's some big names right off the bat for next year. But we're worried about this year, and we're worried about what's going on right now in the NBA playoffs. And can the Celtics, down 3-1 without Jason Tatum, come back and win the series, which seems like it's an impossibility? Can they win tonight in Boston? I think so. Boston's a 4.5-point favorite, even without Tatum. But they need Jaylen Brown to be last year's Jaylen Brown.
They've won without Tatum. They were 9-2, I believe it is, without Jason Tatum in the lineup this year. But certainly they could win tonight, and they could win any given game because they still have a bunch of guys who can knock down threes, so they have the ability to go out there and make a bunch of threes and beat anybody. But for them to put together 3 straight wins over a really good team who's already beaten you 3 out of 4 with Jason Tatum, probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I give the Celtics a better chance tonight to keep the series alive than I do the Warriors, who play in Minnesota. Steph Curry ruled out for Game 5, and the Warriors, if they lose, it's over, so it wouldn't even matter if Curry could come back for Game 6. Staving off is going to be really tough for Golden State. They lost 2 at home and now are expected to win on the road. The odds makers don't believe so. Minnesota a 10.5-point favorite. But like I said, Boston favored to keep the series alive at -4.5. Last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers started out well. Donovan Mitchell played, and at times in the game, he was struggling a bit physically, but not with his play, as he was terrific with 35 points and 9 rebounds. Although he had a weird sequence late in the game when it was still up in the air, 106-100 with 2 minutes left, and he missed 3 free throws and then made a big 3. But it wasn't enough because Indiana, every time they got punched, they countered. And finally, it led to the knockout. 114-105. They beat Cleveland in Cleveland. Cleveland loses all 3 games, played at home. They were the number 1 seed in the East. They had 64 wins. And like I always say, who cares? Who cares? They don't even make the conference finals. They lose 4 games to 1. Tyrese Halliburton, 31 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, which prompted LeBron James on social media to chime in about I don't know if he said idiots, but the people who did not or who did vote him as the most overrated player, what are they thinking now? So I guess that takes him off the hook as being one of those who could have voted him that way. Naismith, 13 points, 13 rebounds, good balanced scoring. And again, Mitchell didn't get a lot of help. There were some injuries early in the series. I understand that. Hunter was out, Garland was out, Mobley was out, but they were all playing. And I've listened to some national basketball analysts who say that while Cleveland has all the pieces, they don't have the physicality. Even with two bigs, with Jared Allen and Mobley, they're not a physical team. And when it came down to it, Indiana was more the junkyard dog.
Yeah, I mean, and Cleveland's another one. A whole bunch of questions because the salary cap situation they're in, luxury tax bill that's coming due. I mean, it's when you're where they are salary-wise, they elected after last year to just kind of tinker, put together the great regular season, but out second round of the playoffs. Now you got to look at it again and figure out what in the world you're going to do. Darius Garland, not good last night, 4 for 16.
Not good in the series.
Max Strus goes 0 for 9 from the field. It's they're another one. It's going to be an interesting offseason of what direction they'd elect to go now with that roster and how if they try and shed some salary, and if so, who is it and how do they get rid of it? But Indiana, 2 straight years, conference finals. Give them a lot of credit. I mean, it's people seem to continue to doubt them. Last year it was, they just got lucky because of the path with all the injuries that everybody had, gave them their path to the conference finals. Well, they come back, go right back to the conference finals again. And there are no apologies needed. You're just keep on doing it. And, I don't think anybody could have possibly imagined an Indiana-New York Eastern Conference final, but that would appear as to where we're headed. And to have Cleveland and Boston both miss the conference finals would be pretty amazing.
It would. And Reggie Miller will be smiling from ear to ear if it's an Indiana-New York Eastern Conference final. But going back to Indiana, yeah, they're a little bit under the radar because they play in Indianapolis, not a huge market comparable to some of the markets that we talk about often in New York and Los Angeles, Chicago that get the limelight. But you have an NBA champion in Pascal Siakam. You have a gold medalist winner in Tyrese Halliburton. Again, he wasn't a big factor for USA and was at the end of the bench. But you have guys that have had the experience, that have been to the mountaintop. And then you just have great role players. They've done an outstanding job in drafting, and drafting guys that play defense too, just like Oklahoma City. But they also have a really good coach. He's an NBA champion in Rick Carlisle, leading the Mavericks to an NBA title. So maybe we shouldn't sell them short, but that's exactly what has happened. As far as Cleveland is concerned, they went out and they got Strus. They went out and they got this season before the trade deadline, DeAndre Hunter. To add, they are in payroll peril, as you said. And it's an extremely, extremely disappointing finish. Again, you can applaud what happens during a regular season. I'm not saying not to. Enjoy the journey, right? I get it. Enjoy the journey. But as competitors, whether you're an actual player or you're just a fan, it's all about what have you done in the postseason. I understand only one team can win a title, but you can't look at Cleveland and go, yeah, great season. Yep, really good, strong. It's where we expected you. No. When you go 64-18, win the East, you're ahead of everybody, including the defending champion Celtics. You fared well against all those teams during the regular season, and then you lay a freaking golden egg in the second round of the playoffs. That's a disaster. It really is. So, yeah, I think they could make some serious moves, Eli, to shed cash. I don't think there's any question. Remember, last year, going into the offseason, the talk was maybe Donovan Mitchell would be dealt. So we'll see what happens with that. And then there was the late game. And I'm extremely disappointed because, and I knew Oklahoma City would win Game 5, but Denver had a really good chance to win Game 5. And the reason is because I picked Denver. That's why. So I got a rooting interest just for that fact. But Denver had the lead going into the fourth quarter. They were in great position. If somebody other than Nikola Jokic could have stepped up. Michael Porter had 2 points for the game. He was horrible. But nobody did anything in the fourth quarter except Jokic. And Jokic ends up with 44 points and 15 rebounds. He's throwing up crap. It's going in. He's hitting those one leg in the air three-pointers. But you can't beat a good team, let alone a great team, by yourself. And it was the team concept of Oklahoma City, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was great, 31.7 assists, 6 rebounds. But they got a lot of help. Balanced. I mean balanced. Jalen Williams with 18. You got 15 from Hartenstein. You got 14 from Holmgren. You got 12 from Dort. You got 13 off the bench from Caruso. Very balanced. And, of course, what they do defensively. So I think if anybody had stepped up for Denver in that fourth quarter, they would have won that game. But they didn't. 112-105. Now it goes back to Denver, where I think there's a good chance Denver could even it up and make this a 7-game series.
Jokic was, that was incredible. He was just sensational. Sometimes you watch him and you're just in awe. Like the array of shots. When he did the little pirouette three-pointer over Chet Holmgren, I thought, well, maybe just it is their night. Like that might, maybe if he's going to make those, there's just nothing Oklahoma City can do. That thing was the look on the Thunder players' faces were like, and then they showed the one fan in the crowd. It was just like, what did I just watch? How in the hell? Again, because it's not even just a spinning pirouette three. It's a spinning pirouette three over a 7'4" dude who's got like that's just an impossible shot to make. And he makes it, and you're just like, wow. Like, I don't know, maybe we just don't have the answer. And then by the way, let me interrupt. And then he goes down on the block and throws up a left-handed hook perfectly over Hartenstein. And then he brings the ball up like a guard. What can he do, that guy? The two, it's just crazy to me that the two really end up being the biggest possessions of the game in a lot of ways, because they got the ball down 3 and Michael Porter Jr. launches a 3, and then they get the ball back down 6 after SGA goes and makes the 3, and again it's Michael Porter Jr. So they're, the game on the line, 2 possessions, and it ends up being Michael Porter Jr. taking the 2 shots.
Yep.
And I was like, what? Again, the man just made a spinning pirouette 3 over a 7'4" guy. He's got to have the basketball. I don't care if it's another one of those. He's got to take the shot. He's got to take one of those 2 shots. Michael Porter Jr. can't take both of those shots. Like, it just blew my mind that Porter took both of those shots. I was like, wow, you talk about letting a team off the hook. Jokic, I would even accept Jamal Murray taking them, but it can't be Michael Porter Jr. who ends up 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3-point range, taking those 2 most shots, which you could say are the 2 most important shots of your season. This is a Game 5, which normally the winner of Game 5, all this stuff, and that's what you end up with in those 2 possessions is crazy.
Can't disagree. Jokic was 5 of 7 from 3, so it was more than just the pirouette shot, the 360. The guy was great. He was at his best, 44 points, 17 of 25 from the field. So he's not taking the shots, but Porter, as you said, 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, 2 total points. He's the guy taking the shots. But you look at the rest of the starters from 3. You mentioned Murray. Murray was 3 of 13. Christian Brown was 2 of 8, had wide open threes and missed. Porter 0 for 5. Aaron Gordon 1 for 5. If any of those guys stepped up, they win that game. And that's what was disappointing if you were rooting for Denver, which I have been.
Lou Dort, the 3 threes he hit right there in a row in that
How big
fourth
was that?
quarter were huge. But that down the stretch, man, SGA, he is just fun to watch. Like the way it is so smooth and so calm, and he just gets to his spots.
He slithers like a snake.
And then he's got that mid-range game, and then he had the alley-oop one to Hartenstein, and then he just comes down and hits the 3, cold-blooded 3, but he's never seems rushed. He never seems anything. It just seems like he's in complete control. He knows exactly where he wants to get to on the court, and he's just going to find a way to get there. And he was amazing down the stretch. It was a fun game. You were right, Elijah. That game was everything you wanted it to be. It was back and forth, and again, Jokic puts up one of the epic performances you could ever imagine. Then SGA has the response to it. It was just that was just fun basketball until Michael Porter Jr. decided to do his thing. I still can't believe he took those 2 shots. I really can't believe it.
I was surprised that Denver played so fast. I thought they would try to slow it down because they know how good Oklahoma City is in transition. But they played fast, man. They got down that court and take shots real quick, really quick.
The question is going to be now, what does Jokic and these guys have left in the tank? Because they went for it. I mean, he played 44 minutes.
Yeah.
They knew he couldn't come off the court.
Point a minute.
48-hour turnaround. What are they going to have left in the tank coming off of that? But again, that performance by Jokic was just something else. That dude is freakishly good. And if he's going to shoot threes like that, I don't know. There's just nothing you can do. There's literally no answer you have. By the way, not only should how bad was that one Russell Westbrook 3?
There were 2 of them, but the one I know which one you're talking about. And it's funny that I know exactly which one.
That ball left his hand. I was like, "Is that a pat? What? I think that's a shot, but it's not even. It wasn't directed at the rim. I don't think it ever got above the rim. It was unbelievable. That dude throws up some of the ugliest shots you will ever see."
It's breakfast time, but we're already thinking lunch. At least we are, because we've been up since 5:30. But for you, it may not be the time to start thinking lunch or dinner, but before too long, you will. What's good? How about Corky's? Corky's has been a part of the Memphis tradition for 40 years, part of the Memphis fabric. They have been serving up that delicious slow-smoke barbecue 4 decades. They've been catering that entire time as well. You got an event coming up this spring, this summer, this fall, a big event, doesn't matter what size, because they can take care of it for you at Corky's. They are experts in catering. They'll set it up, they'll take it down, tear it down, and clean it up, do everything they need to make it real simple for you. And they'll start you out as low as $7.99 per person. They're located on Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. That delicious slow-smoke barbecue, the Q, the ribs, the barbecue nachos, the wings are out of this world. They got an award-winning catfish plate, tamales, even burgers that are terrific. The rolls you get with your entrees are delicious. They have lunch specials every day, party packs that start at just $7.49. And when you head over today for lunch or dinner, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase an entree, whether it be a barbecue sandwich, maybe their catfish plate. But again, you get that third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. When we come back, Pete Rose, now in heaven. Some would say hell, I say heaven. Shoeless Joe Jackson and others could be headed to the Hall of Fame. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Well, there's some things about the Rendezvous I'm going to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to doors. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. But we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear. Please listen carefully for our menu listing. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of the mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous. Since 1948, the Rendezvous. I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, outdoor and home essentials, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through May 14th. Not a rewards member? Join for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's. We help. You save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.
Andy Wise here. For 6 years, I've endorsed Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South as the standard in affordable luxury. Now get this. Pella just got more affordable. 12 months, no interest, no payments on what Consumer Reports has rated the highest quality windows on the planet, plus 50% off installation. That includes consumer guarantees no other window company will ever match. You have my word. You'll make the wise choice when you choose Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So huge news from Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball yesterday, and I'm already sick and tired of reading these holier-than-thou journalists talking about the decision as being like basically the worst thing that's ever happened. It's worse than Hitler. I mean, to allow this to happen. Some calling it a dismal day for baseball, a stupid day for baseball, a grim relitigating of old business that the game would have been best served to leave in the dustbin alongside its many indignities. Yes, you're right. He's the worst dude ever in history. He's the devil. No, I disagree with it wholeheartedly. I am very happy that finally Rob Manfred has removed the names of Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from the league's permanently ineligible list. In other words, what he's saying is, you're dead. I mean, it's over. Once you die, it's done. So now, it doesn't guarantee anything, but there will be a committee, the Historical Overview Committee, that will develop a ballot of, they say, 8 names and vote for these players in December of 2027. And I can't imagine why Pete Rose wouldn't be on that list and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Shoeless Joe Jackson was an absolute moron who put an X down as his signature for the Black Sox scandal and went out there and hit like 380. So that guy got blackballed for, he didn't even know what was going on, to be honest with you. Yeah, did he take money when they were in desperate times back in, 1919? Yeah, again, I don't think he understood the situation, still went out there and played his tail off. Pete Rose, we know what happened there with gambling on baseball. But did he bet against the Cincinnati Reds team? No. I know it was a no-no, and he paid the ultimate price. And he's dead, so he won't be around to see it if it happens. But I am very happy this happened. I want to see, quite frankly, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and guys like that, along with Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson in Cooperstown. It's incomplete. And hopefully it'll happen before I leave this earth and I can visit that. Because I've never been to Cooperstown, and I still think Cooperstown is just incomplete without some of those players.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair. I think we talked about it when Pete Rose died. Like, is the ban a lifetime ban or is it a permanent ban? And it was a permanent ban, but I think it is very fair to say it is a lifetime ban. Once your life is over, your ban is over, and we'll see now what they do as far as the Hall of Fame committees go, whether they will put him in and others in or not. Maybe the most interesting thing I think that came out of this, I was looking, The Athletic has the list of the other players who were reinstated because of this. And pretty much all of them are from the Black Sox scandal.
Right.
Other than Rose. But Benny Koff.
I thought you said go ahead and cough.
Benny Koff in 1990, he was not part of the Black Sox. He was accused of stealing a car, repainting it, and selling it with his brother. He denied it. A jury acquitted him, and he was banned from baseball for life.
Was it Landis? Kennesaw Mountain Landis? Was he the one who banned him? Because he's the one who banned Shoeless Joe Jackson.
I would assume so. I would assume so. Lifetime ban from baseball because he stole a car and sold it and was acquitted of doing so. Like the jury said, no, he didn't do it. But no,
lifetime
done.
ban.
You are done. You will not play baseball again. Could you, like, if just committing a crime like stealing a car got you lifetime bans from baseball today, my goodness gracious.
Gosh, now you're encouraged to steal one.
That is, I can't, like, literally every person is gambling. Like, that's it. Like, every other person is gambling, basically, that was reinstated. He just stole a car. Was accused of stealing a car.
Right.
Found not guilty of stealing said car by a jury, and that didn't matter. Lifetime ban from baseball. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's sad, but this guy is not a Hall of Famer, and how much did he even play before the ban? Like, how many years did he play? What kind of numbers did he have?
He played 8 years, batted over 300.
Okay, I mean, that's good. That's really good, actually. But, yeah, I mean, some of this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. Now, again, Pete Rose, I get it. I understand. I understand the ban. I understand what he did. But, man, people make it like he shot the Pope, for goodness sakes. I mean, come on, get over it. It's done. He's done. He's 6 feet under. Pete Rose is the all-time hits leader, still the all-time hits leader. If that committee in 2027 or in later years thinks he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, put him in the Hall of Fame. It'll only be his family that'll be at the ceremony. It's not going to be him. Shoeless Joe Jackson's been dead for like 1,000 years. Again, I know the Black Sox scandal pretty darn well. I know what happened. I know his numbers. The guy was a dimwit. I mean, let's be honest with you. And had no idea what he was doing, was coerced into it, and then went out there and hit like 360, 370, doing his thing. So, again, I'm sure a lot of people have an opinion about this, and if your opinion is different than mine, then you're wrong.
Drew texts in. He says, this is one of the few things that Manfred has gotten right.
Exactly. He's been criticized a lot. This was, again, he's getting crushed on this one by the holier-than-thou journalists out there. But I think it's the right thing. Okay, we need to take a timeout. We'll come back. Hour 2. We're loaded. To Michael Cole at 8:05 on all things Grizzlies, NBA playoffs, Grizzlies moves that could possibly take place this summer. Josh Pastner at 8:25. Steve Sands from the Golf Channel on NBC at 9:05. By the way, Scotty Scheffler is the favorite at plus 450. Rory McIlroy, who owns that course, is second at plus 480. Then Bryson DeChambeau at plus 1,000. That's your top three for the PGA Championship. 9:25, we'll talk Memphis Tigers hoops with Parthu Pajai. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
call Southern Security, their home team credit union, or the best credit union in the Mid-South for 6 consecutive years. Southern Security offers the latest in technology with our personal teller machines. Our PTMs allow you to speak in real time with the Southern Security team member through two-way live video. The experience and service you trust and know delivered at your convenience. To locate a PTM near you, visit us online at southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud supporter of the University of Memphis Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC sports ball, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff to first throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yellow Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 live 6 a.m. and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South sports station.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's been a mess over here since early this morning. We had this crash where this truck hit a car and then it crashed. Again, they're trying to clean this up on I-40 over here at Jackson and Austin Peay Highway. It happened in the eastbound lanes, but it's been slow in both directions for the last couple of hours over here on I-40 at Jackson. So be aware of this big backup that still exists over here as it builds up through South Haven on 55 northbound coming up from DeSoto County. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by. See David and his family today at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Already up to 72 degrees, on the way to 85, 86 today. Sun and clouds mix, so it's going to warm up quite nicely. 71 degrees tonight with a few clouds, and then tomorrow for your Thursday looks to be a cloudy day, although very minimal chance of precipitation. 84 for your high tomorrow. It's going to get into the upper 80s by Saturday. Hour 2 of the program here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you on this Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. We're broadcasting live. We're live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. Located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40 for all your summer pool needs. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Hour 1, boy, we talked about a number of different topics that we will get back into as we progress along the way over the next 2 hours. But as I talked about at the beginning, we have a star-studded lineup of guests today. including DeMichael Cole, who joins us in just a second. Josh Pastner later on in the hour, the UNLV head basketball coach, then Steve Sands from the Golf Channel on NBC, and Parth Upadhyay on the Tigers basketball program. That'll be in hour number 2. But without further ado, it's time to talk to DeMichael.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is the outstanding Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. He's DeMichael Cole. He joins us every week to talk Grizzlies and the NBA here on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. I'm honored to be on this star-studded lineup that y'all got.
Nice.
Threw my name in there somewhere. I'm loving this.
And you're the leadoff hitter. I mean, that's you're top of the order.
That's right.
I can do that. I can do a little Ricky Henderson. That's cool with me.
I know you can. Yeah, you are a star. All right. So there's a lot to get into. I want to get your opinion also in just a few moments on Cleveland bailing out as early as they did in the playoffs. But I said this on social media and, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I was honest with it. But it's amazing how the Grizzlies were not involved at all in the draft lottery, yet were still stung as Dallas gets the first pick, San Antonio gets the second pick. Just happens to be 2 teams within their division. So, again, they didn't have a dog in the fight, and it still affects them.
Yeah, it affects them a lot, too, right? I mean, we're talking about the 2 of your biggest rivals in the Southwest Division. And it's not even just getting the top 2 picks. It's the ammunition that those 2 teams now have to pretty much do whatever they want, whether that is to keep the picks. And the thing is just in general, you talk to people about this draft class, the gap seems to be with the top 2. There's
right.
Cooper Flag, there's Dylan Harper, and then after that, you got some people like VJ Edgecombe, you got some like Ace Bailey, and a couple others as well. But Dylan Harper and Cooper Flag are pretty unanimously regarded as the top 2 guys. So to see that, those 2 teams that were virtually, you could have made an argument, would have been in the play-in or in the playoffs with a couple, injury things. Wembanyama on the case of, the Spurs, and then Kyrie Irving in the case of the Mavs. If those guys don't get hurt, those teams probably go a little bit farther than they did. So taking that all into the equation, I mean, it's definitely, GMs always try to say, oh, we don't do the keeping with the Joneses game, right? We're not worried about that. But at the same time, look, how can you not, right? This is 2 teams in your division, and they're going to improve. Houston is going to improve. I mean, Houston's going to be really good. I wouldn't say they're going to improve record-wise, but Houston's still going to be really good. And, it definitely puts the pressure on the Grizzlies to keep up with those teams.
With San Antonio getting number 2 and obviously get number 14 as well, do you think they're maybe the best positioned if indeed Giannis ends up getting traded to put together a package to get him?
Oh, without a doubt. I don't think it's close, at least not right now. We'll see what other teams can muster up. But you factor in, to me, you got to look at draft capital, young talent, and the contracts to match. Mm-hmm. And they got all 3. They got all 3. They don't have to just throw a bunch of picks because they have valuable picks, right? They don't have to say, oh, here's a 2032 or 2031 unprotected, because they can give you the number 2 pick this year, and that's going to be Dylan Harper. That's going to be a pretty good kid, and you can play him a lot, next season in theory with Damian Lillard being, out for a while, if not the entire season because of the torn Achilles. Like it really works out with resetting the timeline potentially in Milwaukee. So, I think they are best positioned. And then the scariest part about it is there's a match there, right? With Wembanyama and Giannis, with those 2 playing together, it works. Just in theory, the idea of with the way that both are good big-to-big passers, Wembanyama stretches the floor, and Giannis is probably the best paint scorer in the league. Like it's a scary sight to think about that idea.
And those two, when you're like on offense, and those two standing there in that lane, good luck.
Oh, exactly. The way you just described it and used the term scary, because I was going to come back with that. That is a scary proposition to face. Now, if you're the Grizzlies, can you beat them to the punch? Is there a possibility that you could put a good package together? Because I have said it on this show, but I do understand the uncertainty of the Jaren Jackson Jr. situation financially right now with his contract. And we don't know what Milwaukee wants, right? We don't know if they want young players, they want older players, whatever they want. But you could, and this would be drastic and really something that's, you don't see it with Memphis. But a Des Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. #1 pick next year for Giannis.
Man, that is a substantial package there. But here's how I look at it. I think because then you're depending on a dynamic duo. You're saying we believe in Ja Morant and Giannis more than we believe in Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yes.
And and look, I think if you were to make that deal, you put yourself in a position to where you're going to be, a destination, right? Like players are going to want to play with that duo, so you can, because at that point you got one position that needs to fill. You need a wing who can probably play a little defense, shoot the basketball a little bit, to put alongside of those guys. So in that case, yeah, I mean, I'm not super opposed to that deal. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, I don't want to give up both of the guys." Right? You don't want to give up Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. to get Giannis. You want to try to probably put a deal around one of those guys to go out and go star hunting, so to speak. But Giannis isn't some regular star.
Right.
I think there's a gap right now between like the top 3 players in the NBA and everyone else, and he's firmly in that conversation. I mean, what he does offensively, what he does defensively, how his game has become more polished as he's gotten older. Right? He's become a better mid-range scorer, and his facilitating. I think, yeah. Look, I'd be willing to do it, but I just get the feeling that the Grizzlies will probably be more likely to part with one or the other and try to put up a competitive package around that idea than, parting ways with the entire group. Well, with two-thirds of the core.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe, do you think Giannis will get traded, or how do you think it goes?
I think, this is the time for it to happen, but here's the other thing that people haven't talked about yet. The Jason Tatum.
Oh, where did the Michael go?
Can you hear me?
Now we
got
can hear
you.
you. Yep. Yeah.
You got me? Okay. Yeah, I say here's the thing that people aren't talking about much in this situation. These injuries in the East, not just Dame Lillard, but the injury to Jason Tatum is going to alter some things because you got the Pacers who they're solid, but no one's scared of the Pacers. And based on the way that the Cavs just played, no one's going to be scared of them either. And what's stopping the Bucks from saying, "Hey, Giannis, just look, we're gonna try to build, we're gonna try to reshuffle a couple pieces around you one more time next season. Jason Tatum's out, the window's gonna be open a little bit. Like let's see what we can do in this wide open Eastern Conference, so to speak." Look, I still think it's more likely that he gets traded. I'd put it at probably 60-40, 55-45. But at the same time, I think, we have to factor in if the Jason Tatum injury is going to shift some things around. That's certainly a possibility to me.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, it opens up the East more to more teams who are like, wait a second, now we absolutely got a chance, especially if we add a guy like Giannis. And we'll see what happens. But if the Knicks lose the Eastern Conference Finals to Indiana, they'll be trying to figure out some way, hey, let's bring him in as well and put this thing together where we can't lose the Eastern Conference.
And to your point, to Michael, we were talking about this earlier. Cleveland, and I want to get your thoughts on them going out as early as they did. Financially, they're in financial hell right now. They got to figure out a lot of things, so they may be looking to make some moves. They were talking about Mitchell being traded last offseason. And so that's something that's a possibility too.
Yeah, they're in that situation where we were talking about, similar to the Grizzlies. They're in deeper water. You know, we're talking second apron potentially with them. But it was a similar situation where if Evan Mobley makes All NBA, or if he qualifies in these certain areas, he gets the Supermax, and he won Defensive Player of the Year. So he has not the Supermax contract, but he has the bigger. It's what Ja Morant was going through, right? When we were saying if Ja makes All NBA, he gets the larger rookie scale extension, which I think is a 25% extension. So with Mobley getting the kick up to the 25%, with Darius Garland's contract, remember they paid a nice price to get Max Strus, from Miami. Of course, the Jared Allen contract. They're a second apron team now, and Cleveland isn't necessarily someone that we envisioned being in the second apron. That's why this year was such a big year for them. And they could, marginally try to move some of those pieces around. So that's why I said the Eastern Conference is going to be so wide open next season. I think you're looking at a situation where the Bucks might say, hold up a second now. Like, let's try this thing one more time. They might take that route because there's not going to be some, like, overly big favorite unless, we'll see how the offseason plays out. But as it looks right now, there's no, like, big scary team in the East.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking like there could just be a lot of switching around of pieces because if you're the Celtics too, like I think it was John Hollins or somebody's writing about it, like the Celtics as their roster stands right now with luxury tax and everything else for next year would be like a $500 million roster. Like if you don't have Jason Tatum and figure you're not going to win it. Like, you might be like, we need to get rid of something. Like, what do we do? We can't pay $500 million for a team that's going to be a middle of the pack in the East.
Yeah, I think, that's exactly how I'm looking at it. It's like we talk about how with the new CBA has really shifted the outlook on a lot of things in terms of, long-term roster building. And Boston is probably right now the 1A example of that. With Boston, you're talking about a situation where they have a lineup in place that theoretically could compete for a championship for the next 5 years and possibly win a couple in that stretch. But the problem is that it's not sustainable with the penalties and everything.
Not knowing right now what the situation will be for the Grizzlies other than that they have 2 second-round picks. I mean, who knows if they make any types of trades. Right now, who would you expect from the current roster to be in Vegas for the Summer League?
I think Jalen Wells, Zachy, those guys will be down there for a little while. Cam Spencer is going to be down there. Gigi Jackson is another one that I would expect to go down there. And I think that's kind of the conversation revolves around those guys. I think we can definitely pencil them in. Zion Pullen as well. I think Zion Pullen will be there.
Have you heard anything on the coaching front as far as assistant coaches?
Not a lot yet. That's something I'm actually working on that right now. But yeah, there are going to be some names that pop up when you talk about the familiarity point for Isolo. There are a couple coaches who he has European connections with who have some NBA connections as well. So you're going to start to see a couple of those names pop up as well as, he has, like we said, 3 openings right now on his bench. But, nothing too substantial at this point. But, yeah, I think that's kind of the route that he'll go with at least one of the openings.
So you put the Giannis trade at 60-40, 55-45. What percentage would you put it that the Grizzlies' big 3 are all with the Grizzlies next year?
I'd say, that's a big one. Probably 85, 85%. I think a lot of the focus this year is going to be about aggressively retooling around them. And I don't know if they'll use the mid-level exception, but I think that's the best avenue that they have to do that. And it's going to be probably, based on the roster, it's probably going to be the last time they have access to the non-taxpayer MLE for a little bit, for a few years probably, based on the contract situations and whatnot. So you got an opportunity to use that non-taxpayer MLE, go out and get a really good quality, probably a starter type of player that you could bring off the bench and play real big minutes for you. And then try to go out and, find as we said, your Malik Beasley on a, smaller contract. Find your Chris Dunn, like the Clippers did, on a smaller contract, and get you a couple more impact players that way. And I think that'll put you in a better position to get a gouge of next summer, excuse me. When you go into next summer and we're talking about Jaren Jackson Jr.'s contract, either they're going to want to have him signed by that point. So either he's going to be starting a bigger contract that's going to put you into the tax. Maybe Santi's contract will be on the books. Ja Morant and Desmond Bane's contracts will continue to go up. You're going to be in a situation where you're going to be a tax team. And at that point, you got to know, right? Is this a team we can compete for a championship with? If the answer is yes, you're gonna roll with that group. If it's no, then next summer I think is the inevitable when we see that move made. But it doesn't have to be this summer. It's a conversation, and it's worth talking about because of the way that the season ended. But I think they're not at the point of inevitability, so they'll entertain the conversations. And if the right opportunity presents itself, like if Milwaukee says, hey, we like, a package, we like this package for Giannis, what do you guys think, or whatever the case may be, then of course I think they'll play. But I think the inevitable breaking point would be next season if, things don't go well and they're becoming a tax team.
You are very sensible, my friend. I am not so sensible. I've already given up on them being extremely competitive with what they have. Adding a Malik Beasley type isn't going to do it for me because I could already see the crystal ball. We know that Flag's going to Dallas. I think Giannis is going to San Antonio, and I think KD's going to Houston. And the Grizzlies better hope that New Orleans doesn't get healthy. That's the way I'm feeling. We will talk more about that in the coming weeks. He is DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. He covers the Grizzlies, covers a little golf as well. In August, you'll see him out there at TPC Southwind. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. He's the best. DeMichael, thank you so much.
All right, take care, guys.
You too. Appreciate it. Hour 2 of the program brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, closed on Sunday. There will be a lot of people that will be popping the question coming up later in the spring, summer, fall. There's a lot of people that will get engaged. And when you are getting engaged, you need to find that special engagement ring. And that's what they have at James Gaddis Jewelers, as they've been doing this for 6 decades. They know exactly what they're doing. They got the diamonds back from Antwerp, the newest, the latest. Personally designed wedding sets, wedding rings, obviously engagement rings. They're all right there for you at James Gaddis Jewelers, plus all your other jewelry needs, including watches of all types, bracelets and necklaces and earrings and pendants and gemstones, one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. They have 2 repair experts for your fine watches and jewelry. They can take care of you. Layaway and financing is always available at James Gaddis Jewelers. Go visit them at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, or go online to their website, gaddisjewelers.com. When we come back, Josh Pastner joins us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
house, when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected, your lobster drenched in butter, and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and the staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
This traffic report on Sports 56 is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South Pella Windows. The standard is affordable luxury.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. They finally got this truck uprighted here on 40 eastbound, right at Jackson and Austin P Highway. It's been a mess over here. We're hoping now things are going to start to move a little bit better over here, both east and westbound on I-40 at Jackson as they finally wrap up this wreck that happened earlier this morning. Traffic's still a little bit heavy coming off Bill Morris Parkway onto 240 there, coming past Mount Moriah. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions today. That number, it's easy. It's 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:28 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Siggers with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Coming up in hour 3 of the program, we're going to talk PGA Championship with our buddy Steve Sands from the Golf Channel on NBC. As Quail Hollow will be the site, Charlotte, all eyes will be on Charlotte this week for the PGA Championship. They've had plenty of rain. Hopefully that will go away and they'll have some nice weather for the second major of the golf season. And then after Steve joins us at 9:05, we'll talk Memphis Tigers basketball with Parth Upadhyay, who we talk to each and every week from the Daily Memphian. That'll be at about 9:25. We had a lot of Memphis Tigers news from yesterday, a lot of things that we talked about to start off the program. But right now is a good friend of the show. One day he's minding his own business, bringing terrific analysis to basketball on ESPN. And the next moment, he's the head coach of the UNLV Running Rebels. He is our good friend Josh Pastner, who joins us now on the program. Coach, congratulations on the job.
Well, first of all, let me just say this. I am so excited, enthused, elated to have the opportunity to be the head coach at UNLV. Greg, Eli, you guys know this. Back in the 80s and 90s, I mean, in college basketball, the team that everybody associated with in college hoops basically was UNLV. And I really believe this, that 80s and 90s team with Jerry Tarkanian, staff players, really put Las Vegas on the map globally, and what it's grown to now, where it's the epicenter of the sports capital of the world, the epicenter of the entertainment capital of the world. And so to be able to kind of wear that polo and to have UNLV, the Running Rebels, knowing that you're sitting in that chair, you know, it's like putting that Little League jersey on. It was just really, really cool. And to be able to say you've been the head coach at Memphis, the head coach at Georgia Tech, do ESPN, CBS Sports, Turner, NBC, and now being the head coach at UNLV, played at Arizona, assistant at Arizona. Man, it's been just, you got to pinch yourself for all these opportunities, and just, you don't take it for granted. But really excited to be back into coaching. I love television, love doing TV. Had a great life, great time doing it, learned a lot about the media, about television, how the inner workings worked with great producers, bosses, and colleagues. And I had some other opportunities, guys, when jobs opened, but I never felt right in my stomach. I always felt TV was better. And then when this job came open and had the opportunity to get this, to interview for it, and then eventually get offered it, I was like, let's go. I was so excited. And about 6 weeks later, it's been fast and furious. And we had to start from ground zero. We had, when I took over, we had 0 players because everyone was in the portal.
Right.
Expectedly so, as when you have a coaching change, everyone's in the portal. And so we had to, sign 13 players in a few weeks, and had to I had to go out and was all over the city trying to raise some money. As you guys know, that's kind of the new name of the game now, is recruiting, is a lot of it's fundraising, and so that's been the deal. So it's been exciting, been fast and furious, as I mentioned, but I've had a blast doing it.
Yeah, but all you have to do there is put it all on red and hope it comes up red, and then there you have your money. It's
yeah, well, hey, I've been living I've been very fortunate. They've taken great care of me here. I've been staying in a hotel since I've gotten here. But I have passed through the casinos every time and have not bet $1 because I am not. There's one thing I know, you're trying to sell your house, trying to buy a house,
right?
And I want to keep married, and I don't want my wife to be saying, "Hey, what happened to our bank account?" So here's what I would tell you guys: and Vegas is an incredible place, but you look at all those incredible buildings being built. You know what I mean? There's a reason. Usually the house wins on those. So I go right through the lobby and right up to my room.
They do not build them with their own money. That is for sure.
Yep.
Listen, you not gambling, that's very understandable. You have the willpower to avoid those types of things.
Well, there's a Springsteen song, "It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City," and that's exactly what Josh is. He's a saint in Sin City.
It is interesting because you talk about, obviously, yes, what Tarkanian and UNLV basketball it used to be. And at that time, it was the thing because every other sport was scared of Las Vegas, but now it has become such a massive sports place because all these professional leagues have now embraced it. And I mean, the sports world there just continues to blow up.
Well, Eli, you talk about that. You're right. It was probably back in the day, and when Coach Tarkanian and his staff and the players that they had during that run, it was sort of like Showtime with the Los Angeles Lakers, before, during that time with Showtime and the Lakers, because it was really a spectacle, when you'd come to see the games, and they called it Gucci Row, which was the first row, and you'd have all the celebrities and flying into Vegas just to go to college basketball games. It was sort of that type of deal, and so it was a high level thing, and what's as you mentioned, there was kind of a negative outlook that if to be going to Las Vegas for a sports team, and but now, as you mentioned, Eli, think about it. There's the Golden Knights, the hockey team, are here. Obviously, the WNBA, the Aces. You've got the Oakland A's are coming here. The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, the NFL's here. Obviously, there's going to be an NBA expansion that they just talked about. Adam Silver talked about. And he talked about the two places is going to be Las Vegas and Seattle, and think about the NCAA, who has been so anti-Las Vegas for so long. They're having the Final Four here in 3 years. So it's things have just, like you just said, Eli, it's completely changed. And what's great for us, recruiting-wise, there's so much foot traffic. Now, look, yes, there's more competition for the dollar and for the ticket now because obviously there's more competition, more things, more sports opportunities you have to go to. I look at it as the other way. Great for us because there's obviously there's over 3 million people in the city, so you do have more people here, and because of the foot traffic that comes through here, and people love coming through to Vegas, you have so many great opportunities to attract talent. And what I would also tell you is in the recruiting, especially in this day and age, with a lot of it's controlled by agents and everything else, that's just part of the deal now. You have the NBA Summer League here. People love coming through Vegas. So we've had great opportunities, people wanting to help us with players. And then when you think about it, I think the next thing eventually for UNLV, I think it's, who doesn't want to get there? Memphis is in the same boat. But UNLV wants to be in the Big 12 one day, you know what I mean? Or in the past, just as does Memphis wants to be in one of the leagues. So Las Vegas is a great a city for that, the way things are moving. So that's a good possibility for the overall for UNLV, just like any other team, like a Memphis or anybody else that's wanting to move up conferences. And so there's a lot going here with the program and UNLV, and I'm really excited about it.
Josh Pastor, head coach of UNLV, joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Okay, since you brought it up, and I'm sure the first thing you did was look at the schedule that was in place, teams that were already on the schedule, and then I'm sure you have to fill in the rest of the holes. But here it is. You're coming here to Memphis. You're coming back to where you spent a good portion of your career with the Tigers, and you'll be playing them after they went out to UNLV last year and knocked off the Running Rebels. Of course, you weren't there, but I'm sure that's one you got circled already on your calendar.
Well, you know what? I'm really excited for the opportunity to get back to, really my first time to be back. I mean, I've been back to Memphis here and there for recruiting things there, when I was at Georgia Tech or whatever. But this is, be a great opportunity to go back to play at FedEx Forum, obviously to play against the Tigers, where I had great years there and loved my time. As you guys know, 3 of my daughters were born in Memphis. So it's an exciting time. Look, when the ball's tipped, you're there to win the game.
Sure.
And obviously it's, it's going to be a challenge playing against Memphis is really good. They're getting really good guys. I don't know what's going to happen with a couple of the guys that have been in the portal that might come back to Memphis. So they're going to have tons of talent. That's not going to be an issue. And obviously Coach Hardaway did a fantastic job last year. So it's going to be a great opportunity and challenge for us. But on a personal side, it'll be really cool to be playing in FedEx Forum and being there, because we had so many great memories and great times and great wins and great moments. So looking forward to seeing everybody. I'll be able to see everybody, and I'm sure I don't know if you two will be at the game, but if you are, I'm sure I'll see you before the game, and I'll see so many people that are friends of mine that are there that I'll have a chance to see in person, before the game. And obviously when the ball's tipped, as I mentioned, the whole focus is to try to get a win. But looking forward for that opportunity to be there back in Memphis.
You talk about the fact that you have to, as any time happens, especially with coaching changes now, you got to put together a full roster. I'm always curious about when you're recruiting kids to come to UNLV. Like, what's that discussion like with the parents who might be a little leery of their kid going to live in Las Vegas and the trouble they may be able to find there? Like, what is that recruiting to a place like Las Vegas?
Well, I would say this, a couple of things, Eli. One is, and you both know this, look, first of all, for Las Vegas, I mean, yes, there's the Strip, which is famous. But as you guys know, there's other areas now where you can be all across, where you won't even feel it. You know what I mean? Because there's Henderson, there's Summerlin.
My brother lives there. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just other areas where you don't even encounter. Secondly, there's so much security and police presence all the time because, as you guys know, because they got to keep things moving here. I mean, it's a there's a lot of the casinos and the buildings and everything else. I mean, it's a very safe place because they can't have issues, and so the amount of security and police presence is awesome, and so you feel very safe. I would say another thing, you look at everyone who's coming into the amount of companies and Fortune 500 companies and or sports teams coming here just shows you that the place of safety. And the other thing is, Eli, you know this. You can. I don't care where you're at. You can. If someone wants to get in trouble, they can get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what gambling. I mean, gambling is everywhere now, so it doesn't really matter.
But that's that. You can get in trouble where. I mean, if you're things can happen anywhere in the world if you're not smart about it. So so I don't think that's anything where that. And when you're dealing with the gambling, you look across the country. In this day and age, gambling, you just do it on your phone now. It doesn't have to be where, this is a different time. We're in 2025. Things are different. You got to give great education to your young men that you're coaching about the dangers of it and to educate them and how to, and how to protect yourself as in terms of, to avoid the first bet, I mean, that's the best thing you can do is not ever bet, just avoid the first one. But that being said, that is not a Las Vegas thing. That is a deal because of the way gambling, and especially on sports and sports wagering, has kind of blown up throughout the course of the country in all 50 states, and especially via online. It's such an important part to educate and discuss that with your guys, not on a one-time deal, but on a multiple times a week, so they get the proper education about what the dangers of it and not to cross that line.
Well, speaking of recruiting, everything I've read is that you've hit it out of the ballpark, that you guys have done really, really well. How happy are you? Are you done, or are you ever done in collegiate sports anymore?
Yeah, I don't know if you're ever done. I mean, look, we're waiting on this House settlement that the NC2A has right now to see if that goes through, because that would actually allow you a couple more scholarships, because right now we're at 13, and so we're pretty much done. Obviously, if there was a situation that was the right fit, we would maybe pursue it if the House settlement went through. But we'll see that. We'll just cross that bridge when that bridge passes. If that passes in regards to the House settlement with regarding about being able to pay players through revenue sharing at your school directly. So we're waiting to hear from that with the lawyers and the judge to see if she approves it. That's still going back and forth. And like you said, recruiting is all the time. I mean, but I love who we signed. I love our class. But as you guys know this, the key then is to get them here in the summer and try to gel them together and have great team chemistry and cohesiveness, because that's the biggest challenge. Because me taking over, no different. When I was taking over other programs or just the different time parts, you kind of have your team back, or you have guys back. You sign a couple guys here or there. You sort of know what you got. In this day and age, and me taking over and literally signing 13 new players, you obviously trust in your eyes with film evaluation and everything, but you haven't coached any of them, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. There's been no coaching, so you're not going to have a chance to coach them and put them together. And you can have a thought process of what you want to do offensively and defensively, but that's just based on film. You need to coach the guys to get a better feel. So I'm really excited about the month of June and July, because those 2 months I'll have a really good feel as in terms of who we are as a team. And then, like I said, the chemistry, the cohesiveness, gel them together is going to be a big deal, so we can try to have some success on the floor.
We had somebody that texted in and asked if you'll bring back the towel.
You know what? Yes, because Jerry Tarkanian back in the day had the towel, and obviously he was famous for that. Mm-hmm. But the towel needs to be retired, because that is a Jerry Tarkanian special. I wouldn't want to do that to Coach Tark and Coach Tarkanian and all those tremendous teams that he had and the program that he had. Just I think that rests with Coach Tarkanian. And but as much as we can do, as much as I can do to talk about, so his run, him and his teams run the history,
the legacy,
the legacy, the tradition, what they were doing in the 80s and 90s. And you guys know this. Look, a lot of the guys that are, not a lot of them, every single one, weren't even born during that time period. So it's important to educate, communicate. I mean, heck, none of the guys were even born when Michael Jordan played, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? So things are just different. So to educate and let the guys know what it was like in the 80s and 90s. Now, obviously, what's interesting when you're recruiting and you're talking to their parents or the agents or like their coaches, what's interesting is every one of them says, my favorite basketball team in the 80s and 90s was UNLV. The first jersey I got was UNLV. And it really reminds me of Memphis here, as in terms of the passion, the love for their team. Because I remember being at Memphis, everyone, obviously, Coach Calipari had that incredible run there. I mean, that speaks for itself. But even going before Coach Calipari, when you're talking in those 80s and early 90s with Coach Kirk and Coach Finch and the teams that they had, even going back to Coach Bartow, people talk about that. I mean, the how it was so important, and it's sort of and it kind of reminds me of the same thing here. So there's a lot of parallels with Memphis and UNLV as in terms of the history of the program and what basketball means to the city.
Coach, we're extremely happy for you, and we can't wait to see you in Memphis and hopefully get to talk to you again before that game takes place. We really
all I
appreciate
want to
it.
know, is if I send you guys some UNLV shirts, will you wear them the day of the game in FedEx Forum? Will you be wearing? I got to know. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Are you members? We are
you going to wear UNLV? Here's my thing. Would you wear UNLV running Rebel basketball gear in FedEx Forum when we're playing the Tigers? Would you dare to do that? That's the question I'm putting both of you on the spot.
Hopefully, unbiased. We have to be unbiased media members.
Hopefully I'm calling the game, but I don't know if that game will be on Plus. It'll probably be picked up by one of the big networks. But you know the answer to that, Josh. No, but I'll tell you what I will do.
But I'll wear UNLV gear elsewhere.
I will wear it elsewhere. I'll wear it around the city. I got no problem.
It's funny because I did like like Stacey Augman's one of my favorite college basketball players of all time. I loved Stacey Augman when he was there. Like that team was as fun to watch as any college basketball team there ever was. I mean, you had Larry Johnson and Augman and Anthony and Hunt. Like those dudes, that was so much fun to watch that basketball team.
Eli, you're 100% right, and I hopefully a lot of your listeners will remember that team. But you're right; those guys were so good, and it was a different time. Look, guys were staying 4 years in college, 4 years, but those guys were so good, and everyone talked about the how fast they played. But as you know this, Eli, they were so good on the defensive end. I mean, their length that they played. I mean, they just suffocated. They were sort of like University of Houston before Houston, if that makes sense. And the way they kind of suffocated you defensively, and they had obviously pros up, from point guard through their 5 men. And so, as you mentioned, I remember those teams as well, and that's why I got to keep pinching myself when I think about being the coach here, because I do remember those incredible teams that they had and just incredible players, and Stacey Augman being one of them.
Have a great summer. Go out there and crush it, and we'll talk to you in the fall, Josh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thanks, gentlemen. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. You go from the days of that team where they were in the hot tubs with the nightclubs, the going out on the strip, and a lot of money that was changing hands, and now everything's above the board. You're not going to see Josh in the hot tub with the players, or
wonder
taking them to the clubs.
I wonder what Josh's budget that he's paying his players, how it compares to what Tarkanian was paying his players.
I would think it's way more now. Those guys, again,
I don't know. He was paying a lot.
No, they were paying a lot, but I don't know. I wonder. That's a great question, Eli. What we're talking about, guys like Grandmama and Greg Anthony and Augman, what kind of money did they get? Remember, you weren't getting anything. Maybe you were getting a stipend, right? I know your education was made around that, but what were they getting? I don't know. Maybe they got 50 thou.
I bet Larry Johnson was making a lot of money.
He wasn't making $4 million with P.J. Haggerty's asking for. I mean, yeah, I would love to know that. I'm sure that's out there. I'm sure these guys have talked about it now that it's over with. It's not like they're going to be they're going to get in trouble now. So I'd be very curious about that as well. We need to take a time out. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
June is always a month of celebration. People are getting married. People are graduating. And those people need somewhere to do their celebrating. And we offer up Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar. You could take your group to a chain restaurant or bar, but those places don't have a tenth of the charm of Bell Tavern. Chains are sterile and impersonal. Bell Tavern is a cool oasis for most places. Signature cocktails, ice-cold beer, and the friendliest staff in town. This is a chance for you to show off your knowledge of Memphis, to impress out-of-towners by taking them to the coolest bar they've been to in a long time. Unless, of course, they go to Bell Tavern.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with your fast talk to, or move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Your fast works fast. Look out for our side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Move her, girl.
From the makers of Miralax, new Miralax soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Miralax today at your local retailer. It's directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The complete NFL schedule will be released tonight. They have, in bits and pieces, revealed some of the big games. We mentioned earlier that one of the Thanksgiving games, we know that the Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving, but they're going to play the Chiefs. So that's going to be really cool, one of the 3 games on Thanksgiving. The NFL will play a doubleheader on December 20th. That happens to be the first weekend of the college football playoff. So the NFL is not holding back.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to. The NFL's not changing things for the college football playoff.
Nope.
They've already shown that, and they're not going to start now.
Absolutely not.
They do they've got their schedule the way they have it, and they've added extra stuff to it. But once it gets to the end of the college football regular season, the NFL goes on Saturdays, and you can do what you will, but they are the monster, and you can adjust or not adjust to them, but they're not adjusting to you.
Bill Belichick appearing on ESPN. By the way, his appearances in the last, I'd say 6 months on, everything from Pat McAfee's show to ESPN to, Michael Strahan, Good Morning America, all that stuff. Combined, probably more words said by Bill, although some people would say he still doesn't say anything, but more words combined than his entire career in New England with the Patriots at the podium, because we know he didn't say anything back then, but not saying much now, although he did say yesterday that his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has nothing to do with football at North Carolina. There continues to be stories that some people even have predicted he won't even coach this year, that he'll bail out. Rob Gronkowski, his former tight end, one of his tight ends in New England, says that he believes, no, he will absolutely coach the first year, but he may be done after 1 year. Who knows? Maybe return to the NFL? Nobody knows what's ticking in that mind of his. But while I don't know him from Adam, I don't care about these stories. I don't think there's any question in my mind. He's all in on North Carolina. He's coaching the Tar Heels. There was a story today in the Daily Memphian? You may have read it, or the Commercial. I forget which one. But I haven't even heard this news that there was a couple of guys, I don't know if they're twins, that are on the Memphis roster that transferred from Bill Belichick in North Carolina.
Yeah, I saw that story. I have not read that story, but I don't know.
I saw the headline
with them, but I have not read it. No.
Yeah, I saw the headline. I was like, ooh, what? Yeah, but he's also been able to poach players from other teams. Look, if anybody expects this huge turnaround for North Carolina, I think they're crazy. He has some more talent. They should be competitive because that's what his teams do. But it's still a matter of the Jimmies and Joes, and they certainly don't have it. Now, granted, it is the ACC. There are good teams. It's not the SEC. It's not the Big Ten. But I expect him to have North Carolina competitive in some regard. Not going to the playoff. They're not a playoff team. They don't have those guys. But I expect Belichick to coach. So we're going to, hopefully this is going to simmer down a bit, because I won't be able to take this all summer long with Belichick and his love life.
Well, eventually, maybe she has learned that, or they have learned that she needs to just stay out of the way a little bit. I know she's handling his stuff, but it's not going to be completely possible.
Right.
She's not calling where I was
plays.
at the beginning. I think it was a horrendous mistake to hire Bill Belichick.
She's not game planning for their battle against NC State. She's not doing that stuff. But, yeah, she's going to be around. Hey, everybody, 2026 is already here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. What? Yeah, come out today. Drive one of the new 2026 Equinox. Wow. They're already on the lot. Did somebody say Silverado? Nobody has more new Silverados than All-Star. In Olive Branch is where all the Chevys are. May is your month to finance your new Silverado as low as 0.9. That's less than 1%. Are you kidding me? Because your good credit deserves it, right? If you're in law enforcement, first responder, healthcare field, military, you're a teacher, a recent graduate, you get an extra $500 bonus on top of all the other great deals you're going to get. All-Star Chevy has every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If you don't see it, ask Jeff. They'll find it for you, and they'll find it for you fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Get the most money back for it today. Wherever this summer takes you, Drew and everyone at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wish you and your family very happy and safe travels. Together, let's drive. Check out the great vehicles, the deals online at allstarautogroup.com. You are tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 for you, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Conner will hold
this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Get yours soon and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic and get a $500 instant gift. Match to Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store website for details.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's moving a little bit better over here where we've had to deal with this truck crash for several hours on I-40 eastbound at Jackson near Austin Peay Highway. What a mess it was earlier. Now we got a little bit of volume coming down 385 right now, inbound Bill Morris Parkway, getting up on that ramp to 240. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them today and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Brett Mooresworthy and Bryant Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:03 the time, hour 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's pool time. Get everything you need for a great summer at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Going to get into the mid-80s today. We're going to see a lot of sun. We're going to see some clouds and a little overcast tonight, but no rain in the forecast. And tomorrow, again, a temperature that will rise into the upper 80s. So we're starting to feel that heat. It's starting to get there, as it is every time around this, or every year around this time, starts to get a little bit more hotter. So again, that pool sounds pretty darn good when it gets hot and humid. Take advantage of that at Family Leisure. Third hour of the program is brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Take advantage of what they have to offer, which is flooring and carpeting and backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, plantation shutters and blinds, ceramic and porcelain tiles, and so much more. They sell at wholesale. Skip the middleman, save you lots of money in the process. Family-owned and operated business located at 2356 Goodman Road. That's in Horn Lake. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. You can call them at 662-469-9350. They'll come to you wherever you are, your home or your business. They will give you a free estimate, bring you samples to show you what it'll look like. And then if you go with Jenkins, it's a 2-week turnaround. That's their promise to you. They'll have the job done in 2 weeks. If you're a contractor, a do-it-yourself homeowner, it makes sense to get your material from Jenkins. Again, top-of-the-line material, which they sell wholesale to you. Sports 56 listeners, ask about your family discount, military, first responders. You always get 10% off. It's Jenkins Floors and More, 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Visit them this weekend, or give them a call at 662-469-9350. The PGA Championship begins tomorrow. A lot of rain yesterday and on Monday at Quail Hollow in Charlotte, but hopefully things will change for the better weather-wise. Stiff competition. The greatest players in the world will be assembled in Charlotte, and as he always makes himself available, and we can't thank him enough, to talk majors, it is our good buddy from the Golf Channel on NBC, the one and only Steve Sands joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Hey, Steve.
The only thing better than not getting a job in Salisbury 35 years ago is coming on with you guys 5-6 times a year, man. It's an honor. It's an absolute honor. I love it.
We appreciate it. So what's the forecast the rest of the way? I'm going, by the way, to Charlotte. I'm going to the PGA Championship. I'll be there this weekend. What's the weather look like after all that rain?
Kind of off and on. You know, there's a little bit of rain in the forecast. Nothing severe like there was on Monday. Monday was like just a downpour, more than 2 inches of rain. They actually might play ball in hand tomorrow, meaning lift clean in place tomorrow. It depends on what happens today, but they have more rain overnight. But man, oh man, I can't imagine a major championship played with ball in hand, meaning lift clean in place. I just can't imagine. But the weather's supposed to be kind of off and on here the next couple of days.
Do you remember the last major, and you cover them all, that they had that situation?
I think I read last night. Now the bourbon is talking a little bit, but I think I read last night that there's been one round. There's been one round of golf. I mean, last night, the one round of golf in major championship play that was lift clean in place. But the USGA will never do it.
Yeah,
there's no way. At the Masters, I can't imagine. I'm guessing that the one time it's happened in the history of golf, it happened at the PGA, but I'm not sure. Kerry Haig is the guy who runs the PGA Championship, runs the Ryder Cup for the PGA of America. Incredibly talented and respected man in the sport. I just cannot imagine him watching his major championship be played lift clean in place. But if the conditions call for it, then, they're going to kind of have to contemplate it, and that's what they're doing. The problem is, guys, is that what happens if it rains a little bit if the forecast for rain on Friday, say? Do you do it on Friday as well? You know what I mean? Once you get down, it's a slippery slope for these guys. So I don't know if they'll do it. But if they do, they are talking about it tomorrow, which would be just wild to see.
What is it about this golf course that sets up so perfectly for Rory to have the success he's had there? Other than he's really good.
You've got other than the fact that he's really good, that Justin Thomas answer yesterday was great. When someone asked him about Rory McIlroy and said, why is it he's won 4 times here, and why is it that he succeeds here? And Justin goes, well, other than the fact that he's really good at golf, he drives the ball beautifully. Eli, I think he's the best driver of the golf ball in the game, and I think that he's a top 2 or 3 driver of the golf ball in the history of the sport. He also is a high draw. He's not a fader of the golf ball. He can fade it, but he's not a fader of the golf ball. And this golf course sets up very similar to Augusta, and that's not because he just won it. But I've always thought he had a great chance at Augusta because he hits the ball so high and so far, and he's so accurate, and he happens to have his natural ball shape as a draw. And here, driving is imperative because of the distance of the golf course. And by the way, that makes it even a larger factor this week because of the rain. The golf course will play even longer. But that's why, Eli, the driving ability he has is superior to everyone else. And that would be the main factor as to why he succeeded here all these years.
Is it a risk-reward course, meaning you cut the corners, and if you come up short, you're in trouble? Is it something like that?
It is. I mean, it's a tree-lined golf course. When you see it on TV the next 4 days, or the next 5 days, if you happen to watch the practice rounds and stuff today, it will look a lot, Greg, like Augusta. Johnny Harris founded the Quail Hollow Club. He's a legendary figure in real estate and business here in Charlotte. He's a member at Augusta, and he wanted Quail Hollow to, look like Augusta. And it certainly does. It's got the pine straw. It's got the trees. It is not Augusta by any means, but it does have some similar features to it. So if you drive the ball errantly here, Greg, you can get yourself in trouble. Again, though, because it's so wet, and I mean wet like when you were walking the fairways yesterday. There was so much rain on Monday. When you were walking in the fairways on Tuesday, you was squishy. I mean, like water was coming out of the ground whenever you stepped foot in any part of the fairway. So that makes the golf course much, much wider. So if you are an errant driver of the golf ball, you should not be in nearly as much trouble as far as the pine straw and the trees are concerned, because the golf ball just won't roll out all the way to those points. But the rough is thick, and it's nasty, and it's wet, and they haven't been able to put a mower on it. It's going to be a challenge to drive the golf ball here this week. It's going to be a challenge to hit out of the rough here this week.
So if you were making the odds yourself, would you make Rory the favorite or Scotty the favorite?
That's a great question, Eli. I would make Rory the favorite, not because of what he did at the Masters, not because this frees him up to go win a bunch of these things now, and he doesn't have that burden carrying around on his shoulders that he hadn't won a major or that he hadn't won the career Grand Slam at the Masters. I just think he loves the golf course, and I think he's the best player in the world when he's on. And I think when the two of them, he and Scotty, are playing at their best, I still would take Rory right now. You might think differently here in a year or two, but right now, I would take Rory. And this golf course, Eli, is just something, that phrase, horses for courses.
Yeah.
Man, he sees it here. He just does. He just loves playing here. I don't know what it is, but he just loves playing here.
Steve, how tough are the greens?
Greens are good. They're undulating, not undulating like Augusta. They won't be as fast as Augusta, but they do have the sub-air system here. So because of that, Greg, they're able to, dry them out as best they can. You can't help it, as much as you can because of all the rain they've gotten. But the greens are good. They're solid. They move, and they'll be fast as they can get them on these, with all the rain that's fallen. But the greens are very strong. It's a really, really good golf course, a worthy golf course, a very popular golf course among the players because it lets you play, and it's also challenging. So you ask about the risk-reward. You'll see guys shoot, low numbers here, but you'll also see guys, those same guys, shoot big numbers as well, because if you go for it too much here, very similar to Augusta. I keep making it analogous to Augusta. It's not Augusta, but very similar to Augusta. If you go for it in certain spots here, Greg, 3's in play, and so is 7, and that's what makes a great golf course.
Outside of Rory and Scotty, would Justin Thomas, based on the way he's playing and the fact that he obviously won the PGA Championship on this golf course before, does he got to be kind of the next guy?
I think he has to be, Eli. I think that there's a little group there that, if you take away Scotty and Rory, who are playing the best and are the best, Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, that group right there. It's kind of like that second-tier group of quarterbacks in the NFL. You have that 4 or 5 guys, and then you've got that next group. Justin Thomas, to me, would be in not the B group right there, but he's B+, A-. He's the leader of that second group, if you will, yes.
Do you put DeChambeau in that group?
100%. I think he and Justin Thomas are right there. Not only did he just win the LIV event in South Korea, and he came close at the Masters, I just think, Greg, he steps up in these big spots. He loves it. He cherishes it. And as I've told you before, Jack Nicklaus famously said, you don't find your game at a major. You bring your game to a major. and Bryson certainly is bringing his. I think Bryson and Justin Thomas are a step above Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele right now coming into this week.
Morikawa made the caddy change, right?
Yep. Yes, he did. He's changed a lot. J.J. Jakovic was his caddy for a long, long time. They had a very good partnership, and Colin just wasn't seeing it, and he decided he needed to make a change, and he hired Joey Griner, who's an excellent caddy. He, by the way, was the caddy for Justin Thomas when he won a few weeks ago at Hilton Head, because Justin's caddy had come up with a bad back, so he caddied for him at the Masters and at Hilton Head, and Justin Thomas won. Joey Griner was with Max Homa for a long time. Max made a change with Joe earlier this season, so Joey Griner was available, an outstanding caddy. Is very well respected around the tour.
So that world's got to be interesting. Like, just when you've had a caddy for that, I mean, the relationship you have with a caddy, and like when you decide to make that change, it's just it's got to be an uncomfortable thing.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Just like your hitting coach in tennis. But what I wanted to ask Steve is, in a situation like Thomas's, where he wins, but his guy is out with a back injury, obviously he's got to pay the dude who caddied for him. Does the guy who's his regular guy get anything out of it, even though he was home?
I think it's based on the individual. I'm not saying that Justin did or did not, but it's based on the individual. Normally, the caddy who caddied will get the 10%, which, by the way, that was a signature event. You're talking about north of $300,000.
Pretty good week's work.
Oh, my gosh. And Matt Minister, who's a very, very respected caddy out here as well, just like Joey Griner, had a bad back, couldn't do it at the Masters, couldn't do it at Hilton Head, but he's back this week with Justin. I would think, Greg, that I'm not saying he's going to throw him $300,000, but I would think a player of Justin Thomas is such a nice guy and such a good guy. I would imagine he would, I don't know, let's call it $25,000, let's call it $20,000, something. I would imagine he would give him something.
Yeah.
Because it's just such an odd circumstance,
You mentioned how good of a guy he is. Who amongst the players, like, take fans out of it, but like out on tour amongst the players, who would you say is like the most liked guy?
True, man. That's a great question. There's always going to be, in sports, there's always going to be, people you love, people you don't like, people who are slow, people who, are fast, but, different personalities. It's not one of the top guys, it's never one of those guys, because there's always going to be a bit of a jealousy factor.
Yeah.
Is it that Damon guy? What's his name? Joel?
I mean, everybody loves hanging around with Joel Damon, but sometimes he's not other people's cup of tea.
Gotcha.
Like Billy Horschel's a great guy, but he's not everybody's cup of tea. I would say it's just going to be strange because he's young, but I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Ludwig Oberg. So I would say him on the young side. But to me, the most popular player as far as game, as far as personality, as far as everything all around, everybody in the sport loves Adam Scott. And,
okay,
really? And not just, on the course, off the course. Adam Scott is just a wonderful guy to play with. He's a great champion. He's an advocate for the sport. He's taken a kind of a leading role here in all the nonsense that's been happening with the PGA Tour and LIV and all that kind of stuff. I would say Adam Scott would be someone who you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody say anything negative about.
One young guy that I seems like he has great relationships with everybody. It's kind of I'm always surprised a little bit by it because he is so young.
Yeah.
Is Tom Kim?
Tom Kim, I knew he was gonna
really
say.
like? He seems like everybody loves him out there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a love-hate there. I mean, some of his antics can be a little bit much for some guys out there. He's he's kind of a rah-rah guy, he's high energy, that kind of thing. People like him, no question about it. But again, there are a few people out there who probably, if you had a few beers with him, and we're sitting at the bar and you were actually talking, he would tell you, I've had enough of his acts. But Tom's a very popular player for sure. Here's the thing. What you want to be out there, if you want to be popular, and nobody's asking to be popular, but you want to, play at a nice pace, not play slowly, because slow play is a way bigger deal than someone who plays quickly. Be a congenial player to be around, be able to talk about, anything from women to sports to gambling to politics to life. Tom Kim is a popular player, but he's not at the top of the list for sure.
Couple of things about the Ryder Cup, the news here in the last few days. Keegan Bradley, who's captaining the United States team, as you know, invited both Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka to, I guess, a gathering they had for Team USA, not knowing, it's an automatic if either one or the two make the team. And I think DeChambeau couldn't make it because of weather or something. But he did it via Zoom. So those guys were invited by Keegan Bradley, which I think is great. Give me your thoughts on that. And then the other thing I just read today in passing, something about Rahm, that he was like, this story that he's guaranteed a spot on the European team, and he wouldn't talk about it. He wouldn't address it.
Yeah, the Rahm situation is different than the Americans because the PGA of America runs the Ryder Cup, not the PGA Tour. So if you're not a member of the PGA Tour, like Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka, you're still eligible to play in the Ryder Cup because you play, as an American, and it's the PGA of America and not the PGA Tour. On the Europe side, it's different. The European Tour, which is now called the DP World Tour, owns the European side of the Ryder Cup. So you have to be a member. So Rory McIlroy has to be a member of the DP World Tour. So he has to play a minimum number of events over there to play in the Ryder Cup, to be eligible to play in the Ryder Cup. John Rahm's going to be on the Ryder Cup team. He's still a member of the DP World Tour. He never gave that up as part of his going to live like he did giving up the PGA Tour status. So John Rahm, unless something really strange happens, John Rahm should be, on Long Island in September representing the Europe side. As far as the Americans go, Greg, I think that Keegan Bradley's playing this correctly. Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau and all the guys on LIV from the American side are eligible to play for the United States. And Keegan has gone to the guys who will make it, the Scotty Schefflers of the world. Those guys, the leaders on the American side, and said, hey, what do you think? And the guys have all blessed it. Who wouldn't want Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka on the team if they're eligible? Mm-hmm. And they will be on the team if they continue to be eligible, and they're playing good golf. And Bryson certainly is playing good golf. And if Brooks steps it up a little bit, I'd be shocked if Brooks wasn't selected for that team as well. And there's no animosity there from the guys. The top Americans are certainly blessing that, and Keegan is taking advantage of the rules. And the rule says that these guys can play, so why not at least feel it out and see what the guys think, and the guys are all for it. So I fully expect those two to be on the team, if they're playing well at the time.
Speaking of Rahm, could you expect anything out of him this week? Like, what is his game?
Man, oh man, Eli, it's not great because I think he's eating away at the prime of his career. By going over to LIV, he thought that things would change drastically. They have not. He is, I don't mean stuck, but he's quote unquote stuck over there, not able to play PGA Tour golf, not able to prepare his best for major championship golf. And, like we said about the popularity of players, everybody's personalities are different. Not everybody gets along. Some people do get along, that kind of thing. And John Rahm's personality is a lot different than Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson has the ability and the headspace to prepare for these majors the way he wants to, and then he steps up and he almost wins them. He won one last year at the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. John Rahm is the opposite. He is a different kind of cat, and he has not been able to prepare for these major championships the way he used to in the past when he won the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, when he won the Masters. And it's just not working for him. So the answer would be probably no. However, he's a top 5, top 10 player. Forget his official world golf ranking. He's a great, great player. If he puts it together, for sure he can win. But he just hasn't been able to put it together.
All right, last thing for you, Steve. Give me 2 dark horses. You can't say Russell Henley. He screwed me at the Masters.
Oh, come on. Russell should have played better at the Masters.
I know. I bought into it too. But give me two dark horses for this week.
I'll take two dark horses. Last week's winner, Sepp Straka, outstanding player, and he can definitely handle this golf course. And another one is a live guy, Tyrrell Hatton. I think Tyrrell Hatton's going to play well here this week, and I know he's an off-the-board pick as well. So if you're going to go off the board, I'll take those two guys.
He is the man. He's Steve Sands from the Golf Channel on NBC. We always appreciate it, Steve. We'll talk to you in July.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Sovereignty not running the Preakness.
I know.
Absolutely insane for the sport, and the sport has got to get to these trainers and these owners and say, if you win the Derby, you have to run the Preakness. Have to. And I just don't get it. I understand the health, and I understand the stud fees and all that stuff, but what's best for the sport is the Derby winner must race in the Preakness. And if he wins the Preakness, he must race in the Belmont, because it's just too good for the sport to not have these guys running, and it's just terrible for the sport when they don't run. It's just terrible.
Well,
so
we're in
I get off my soapbox. I can't stand it. It drives me nuts.
Well, look, it ruins it, because there's people that can care about horse racing that wants to see the possibility of a Triple Crown winner. And here's the thing. If the horse literally got hurt in the Derby, that's one thing. But we have had history, years and years and years and years, where these horses have run all three, and we're not talking about horses dying after the three races. So, yeah, it's a bunch of crap. I know the money that's involved. There's a lot of money, but these are all rich people anyway, fat cats. So I'm with you 100%, Steve.
I get it. I just think it's so bad for the sport. I don't understand why all of a sudden in the last 10, 12 years this has become an issue.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous. I know it is load management, but it's so what's good for 17 million plus people watch the Derby, right? If you get sovereignty at the Preakness and NBC promotes it the way we promote things, it won't be 17 million because it's not the Derby, but the Preakness will get at least 10, 12, 13 million people watching it because of the chance to continue the Triple Crown. That's good for the sport, and people will go to the track. They'll bet on horse racing more. They'll be more interested in the game if sovereignty runs in the Preakness. The sport has got to get to these owners and the trainers and say, not on our watch, man. It has to happen because it's too good for the game. It's too good for the game.
The preceding announcement made on behalf of Major League Baseball. He's Steve Sands from the Golf Channel on NBC. Thank you, Steve.
And Pete Rose is not going to get in his first try. That's all we got. He's not the first try. He's not going to get in. The writers will not allow it.
We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that next time you're on.
That's it.
Thanks, Steve.
Interesting. Bold prediction from Mr. Sands.
Because it's going to be 8 dudes that make up a committee, and maybe they'll be like old school guys. They won't be these. I don't even want to name names, but I've read about 3 or 4 stories. I forget who wrote the one I was reading earlier today. I hope it's not those guys. If it's those guys, he might be right about that.
Yeah, I don't know who's on the whatever the name of the committee is.
It's called the
Classic Baseball Era Committee.
Yes.
I have no idea who makes up the Classic Baseball Era Committee.
Hopefully it's classic baseball writers.
All I know is they have too many committees because it's the Historical Overview Committee who decides who will be on the ballot, or the Classic Baseball Era Committee to vote on. Way too many committees there in the old baseball
Too many committees,
Hall of Fame. Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all your running gear. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet either in East Memphis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center or out in Collierville, Poplar, Houston Levy, next door to Huey's. See them and they will take care of you. Make sure you get shoes that are just right for you. So if you're out there running or walking or just for everyday use out on your feet a lot, you want to make sure those shoes are just right for you so you can avoid injuries or any other problems. And they will make sure that they find the right ones for you based on the way you run or the way you walk, plus any other gear that you need. They've got you taken care of at Fleet Feet. You can also find them online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, or on social media, where they'll keep you up to date with things they've got going on, events going on in the running community, stuff that you can get involved with the folks at Fleet Feet.
We are talking Tigers basketball with Parthu Pajai. He's next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everyone needs protection. protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid classes. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified in Virginia by Chef.
So this month, we, of course, celebrate the World Championship of Barbecue.
Yes, at Tiger Lane.
And if you're on a barbecue team, we wish you the very best.
I do not like where this is going.
We wish you the very best at being second.
Oh, this is bear poking.
Because the best barbecue in Memphis is, and has been for a long time, to be found at Central Barbecue.
Barbecue contestants take this very seriously.
Central Barbecue takes barbecue more seriously than anyone.
These are not people you want to make mad.
I don't want to make them mad. I just want them to be prepared to be outdone by Central Barbecue.
And I want everyone to know that I did not write this.
And it's really not even fair.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. What a mess it's been over here. It's moving a little bit better, though, on I-40 east and westbound around Jackson at Austin P. Highway, where that truck flipped earlier this morning. A little bit of volume, still trying to sneak up from the south on 55 northbound up through South Haven, all the way into South Memphis. Weimer's Jewelry, they want you to know they are your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by, see them today, and shop local and save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:32 the time. Our final half hour here on the program. It's been a very busy one. If you missed any of our interviews, you can always check out the podcast. Go to the website. That's WHBQ sportsmemphis.com or www.sports56whbq.com and check out all our podcasts, all the shows. We break them down hourly, and you can hear DeMichael Cole from Hour 1 talking Grizzlies. Josh Pastner joined us in hour number 2. I should say both in hour number 2 from 8 to 9. Josh Pastner joined us, the head coach of the UNLV Running Rebels. We just had Steve Sands on from the Golf Channel on NBC, and now time to talk some Memphis Tigers basketball with Parthu Pajai.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is Parthu Pajai, the Tigers beat reporter for the Daily Memphian. Here's Parthu with Greg and Eli.
Parthu Pajai joins us every week, University of Memphis Tigers basketball beat writer for the Daily Memphian. It doesn't matter if you're here in Memphis or parts unknown, Parth. There is always news about Memphis Tigers basketball, and we opened up the show and we talked about a lot of it today that was circulating yesterday. Let's start with the schedule part of things. John Calipari was here in Memphis and talked about the good possibility that they will play an exhibition game against the Tigers. That would be the one to benefit the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, not unlike the one we had last year with North Carolina. But the return of John Calipari is a strong possibility, at least for an exhibition game coming up this fall.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know I was on with you guys last Wednesday, and sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I spent hours on the beach yesterday in Myrtle Beach. I think I got a little bit dehydrated.
No problem.
Rough life.
Yeah, yeah, man. Been enjoying the vacation a bit. So I'm back in Raleigh, like I mentioned. But I know I was on with you guys last Wednesday, and we talked about, hopefully things would slow down. But things never slow down, right? In the world of Tigers basketball. So I've only been away for a week now, exactly a week, or less than a week even. Officially being off, and Memphis has added a player from Lane College. John Calipari might be back in town, or he was back in town last night, obviously, but he might be back in town for a basketball game. Louisville and Memphis, that series is back, so much has happened, right? In the past 4 or 5 days, it's crazy, but obviously, I think one of the biggest pieces of news is the potential return of Cal, even if it is for an exhibition game. That'd be awesome.
Had you heard much about that before? As a possibility?
Yeah, there were murmurs, kind of after coming off of last year's North Carolina exhibition. I wouldn't even call them murmurs, but just the idea that folks who were putting that event together wanted to target Arkansas, right? And even if they couldn't get Cal to play Memphis in an official capacity, wanting that program and John to do it in this way, just like that could be on the table. So yeah, that was kind of talked about and discussed, but for Cal now to come out and say it publicly, that's certainly a big step in the right direction.
Yeah, it has more than legs, right? It comes from the horse's mouth. And I've been on the record saying that Cal will never play the Tigers, but my thought was always regular season. I didn't even think about the possibility of an exhibition game. And now that they're playing big time opponents in the preseason, it makes sense. Now, there's a caveat, and I understand to a certain extent what Cal is saying. It bothers me a little bit that Cal said, yeah, I'm willing to bring the team to play Memphis as long as is done. That bothers me. This is for charity. It's for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. He should be signing up for it no matter what. He shouldn't have to get something in return. So that bothered me, but I understand what he's saying because there's no question that his team, and I assume he's talking about the 08 team, should be honored. And I think that would be a great thing if you can get the bulk of those players together, honor them before the game or at halftime of that game. I mean, it could be an incredible night because, as you know, Parth, the North Carolina exhibition game that benefited St. Jude last year, first time, and maybe it caught people by surprise, it was not well attended. It should have been a lot better, and it was not. But now you throw in Arkansas with the regional ties, the Arkansas fans in the area, and then maybe
and
the return.
Cal.
And the return possibly of the 08 team being honored.
Oh, my gosh.
That should be a real big crowd and a real big crowd pleaser.
That should be a sellout, right? Like, there's no question. All those elements together, like, that place should be packed to the roof,
It should. It doesn't mean it will. And then as far as another exhibition, have you heard any rumblings about who possibly else could be on that schedule as far as exhibitions?
I have not. Last year, obviously, was the first year that we saw two big-time opponents. Usually Memphis, will do at least one, local school, right? Like a D2 or whatever it may be. But, I would expect another power conference opponent if Memphis can get one on the schedule.
It works so well. Why not, right?
Was Mason Matthews on your radar?
Absolutely not. No, Mason Matthews was not on my radar. As soon as that news came out, I had to figure out who he was, first of all.
Sure.
And learn a little bit about his game, but it's an interesting addition for sure. What is Arkansas native, so he's kind of from the region. Played at Lane College last season, has played in a bunch of kind of small college and D2 JUCO programs, I believe. He's been everywhere, looks like.
How old is he?
Yeah, that's a great question.
He's got to be 25 years old, right?
Because he's got a long list of colleges he's attended. So how old is he? That's a great question. He is eligible, though, so that's awesome. That's the 11th edition for Memphis. And then you factor in Dante Harris. That's 12 players out of a 13-man roster so far, unless that house settlement gets passed, which is expected to get passed, and then bump the roster limit to 15. So 15 is the limit. Then you've got 11 plus Dante. That's 12. saving a spot for Dame 13. So you still got 2 more spots to play with. You would hope the Tigers add some real size, now with these final 2 spots.
You could also, and I don't know if this is a possibility, but I mean it's a possibility. I don't know if it would happen. Is with Penny's son back, you could make him a walk-on, correct, and make and open that scholarship and pay for his school.
Yeah, I think so. I think that has been talked about, or there's been chatter around that, certainly.
But if the roster limit is 15, when the roster limit goes to 15, it's 15. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter even with walk-ons?
There's no such thing.
Yeah,
once
there's
15
passed,
spots on your
Yes,
roster.
you're right. I know.
You're right.
There's no walk-ons. Yes.
Eli is
absolutely correct.
Yep.
15 players, all scholarship, no walk-on. That's
That's correct.
It wouldn't matter regardless.
Yeah, forgot about that. So, PJ Haggerty, who's actually doing well so far, we'll see about the games when they start today at the NBA Draft Combine. I've said for a while I think that ship sailed. Are you now 100%, 90% in your mind that ship has sailed with Memphis?
Yeah, I think I'm about 80, 85% that ship has sailed. Just because, the way this thing is drug on, I think it's put a, I don't think it's rubbed Penny the right way, right? And why would it rub him the right way? This has been just kind of what do you call it? It's a thing that's just drug on so long. It's turned into a whole thing.
It's become a soap opera.
Right, exactly. That's the word I was looking for, a soap opera, for sure. So I feel like, the more days that go on, the more it's become apparent that he's either going to stay in the draft,
right.
if he really performs well and, somehow creeps into the first round, which I think is doubtful, but, who knows. Or he goes to NC State, right? It seems like that Memphis door is, it's not all the way closed, then, like we said, 80, 90% shut.
Yeah, you're never going to shut it completely because he's a great player, but you don't want to get your chain yanked. I mean, Penny doesn't want to be waiting, and then he waited a long time before he started to get players. Now, this group of players, Parth, I mean, who knows, right? It's the most eclectic group I have seen of a roster, not only with Penny, but really going back to all the years I've covered Memphis Tigers basketball. You got guys from D2, junior college guys. You got guys who were on the team 2 years ago that came back to the team.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
It is really a mix and match hodgepodge, but you look at the team and you go, and then they're also, aren't they entertaining Curtis Givens?
Mm-hmm.
He's another guard.
Curtis Givens on campus yesterday.
So if he were to sign, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's another guard. I mean, it's like a guard-oriented
so many
team.
Guards.
Right.
So many guards.
So I don't know what happens as far as another big out there, unless, again, it's Danger, who, if they're banking on, man, I think they're going to be disappointed when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. That's a tough one to bank on, especially with your history with NCAA. It's never, at least in recent years, gone your way, right, if you're Memphis. So for you to bank on that and put all your eggs in that basket doesn't seem like a great idea, especially with now, you only got one big on the roster, Aaron Bradshaw. That's it.
That's pretty crazy. What have you done a deep dive into this roster and just kind of looked at the guys and come up with rotations in your mind, starting lineups? Again, a lot still to happen as far as the roster and things, but from what you see with that team right now, what kind of team are you looking at?
Yeah, you're looking at a small, you're playing small ball, right? You're playing a lot of small ball. You're banking on position versatility, switching everything, guys who can guard 3, 4, 5 positions on the court. So I think if Dane does not come back, right, and I've done this in my head, so if Dane does not come back, you've got Doug McDaniel at your starting point guard, Sincere Parker at the 2. I think you got to go Julius Thetford, right, at the 3. Or no, now you've got, I'm sorry, what's the guy's name from
South Carolina?
Is it Hassan? Abdul Hakim.
From UTRGV?
Yes.
Right. So you've got him at the 3. Maybe Zach Davis, South Carolina, as your small ball 4. He's grown to 6'9", he tells me, 6'8". And then you've got Aaron Bradshaw at the 5. So you're playing Doug McDaniel, Sincere Parker in the backcourt, and then you're playing 2 wings at the 3 and the 4, along with Bradshaw.
Okay. I mean, again, that's just you're thinking out loud of
what
may be a possibility. Okay. Parthu Paja, by the way, joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Let me go back to the schedule. Okay, we talked about the good possibility, strong possibility of Cal in the exhibition game with Arkansas. So Louisville, as you had mentioned, the series is back, which is fantastic. Again, for people out there who have issues with Penny for whatever the reason is, man, one thing that you can never have an issue with this guy is that he will play anybody, anytime, anywhere, and is working his tail off to make the schedule as attractive as they can within reason. So we've heard, here's what's been out there, and I'm sure you've seen it. We've seen Alabama, maybe the return of an Alabama series, maybe the return of a Missouri series. I'm hearing maybe there's a long-term deal with Gonzaga that they're working on. The Nolan Smith connection to Duke is a possibility. Also, maybe having that game in February, which I think they're going to try to do when they only have the one conference game in that week, to have a tough non-conference opponent right before the conference and then the NCAA tournament. So what more are you hearing schedule-wise, and how many openings are left now that the Louisville series is going to return?
Yeah, let's go through the openings first. I think you add the Louisville game, you've got Mississippi State, Ole Miss on the road. You've got UNLV, San Francisco at home, so that's 4, plus Louisville, 5. You've got the 2 games in the Bahamas, that's 7. Then you've also got New Orleans, right? So 8 games are occupied so far. Am I missing anybody?
No.
No, I think that's all.
I think that's
all
it.
that's right now.
So that's 8, and you play 18 in the conference, right?
Yes.
So
yes. As of now, you play 18 in the conference. So you got 13 in the non-conference. You've got 8, like we said, 8 non-conference accounted for, right? So you've got 5 vacancies so far.
Is it 5?
Yeah, if my math is correct, yes. If 8 are occupied and 13 total non-conference spots, yes,
that
you
would
got
be 5.
Yes, yes.
So 5, and you have to add at least one really attractive opponent at home, which is not the easiest thing to do because nobody wants to play Memphis at home. They want to play them on a neutral court. Some will play home and home, but you got to make sure if it's a home and home that the home portion is this year because the home schedule's not that appealing right now.
No, it's not. I mean, look, you've got who? You got UNLV, you've got San Francisco at home, and New Orleans. I think that's it. You know, out of the 8 we've named, isn't that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Louisville, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss are all in the road.
And the Clemson series is over. The Virginia series is over.
Wow.
Well, that's why it would have been better if the Louisville series could have started at home, but I'm sure
it would have been
there
great.
was a reason Louisville wanted it to start at their place. But yeah, if you could have that as the home game this year, that would have been a big help.
But I'm sure he's working on, and again, we've heard rumors about those teams I just talked about. I'm sure Penny's working on it to try to be, if they get Alabama back on the schedule or Missouri back on the schedule, that's here in Memphis to start off.
In Memphis. Yes, correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
How about as far as here we are on May 14th, and last year he had the bulk of his players on campus by June 1st? What are you hearing? There's some already on campus, correct?
Yes, some are already on campus. I talked to Quante Berry's mom before I went on vacation last week, and she was actually up in Philadelphia helping him move out of his Temple apartment so that he could go straight from there to Memphis. So they're supposed to have gotten into town late last week or early this week. So they're in town. Zach Davis, he had told me when I spoke to him a while back that he was going to get there, kind of mid-May, and obviously he's been posting on social media that he's arrived in Memphis. Doug McDaniel is one of the players who has openly said, that he's wanted to get to campus even before the start of June first workouts. So it seems like these guys are trying to get there even sooner, right, than the formal workouts start in June, which is good. They'll get to know the city and get to know their teammates, and they may build some camaraderie kind of off the court before things start full-fledged, come June 1st with the Tigers.
All right, real quick, we're up against the clock, and you've done well with your voice, so good thing you haven't had to go to the water yet. 2 things. One, have you had any contact with Curtis Givens III?
I have not. I texted his father, I think it was, I want to say 3-4 days ago, and I hadn't immediately heard back, and then, like I said, I kind of was unplugging the last 2 days, so okay. I have not chatted with the Givenses.
Okay, and then I assume there's been no contact probably with anybody and P.J. Haggerty while he's at the combine, but anything from Dad or anything like that?
No, it's been still quiet on that front. I will say that.
Do you know if Danger is, I assume, went back home? He's not here in Memphis, right?
He's been spending time in Chicago training. I know his trainer's based in Chicago, one of his trainers, and then he has been back in Memphis. But I don't think he's been working out in Memphis. I think he's been just back and forth because of his apartment situation or something like that.
All right. Great stuff, Parth, as always. Parth will be off next week. He continues his well-deserved vacation, and then he'll be back in 2 weeks from now to update us on probably 1,000 different things with Memphis Tigers basketball. Thank you, Parth. Always appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Parthu Pajai from the Daily Memphian. Dinstall's is ready for those warm summer days. Has a weekend special for you. This weekend only, chocolate fudge. This creamy handmade favorite has been ranked #1 in America. So stop by this weekend. Enjoy it as a treat, as a topping for ice cream. It's absolutely out of this world, the chocolate fudge, but all their great delectables are as well. Of course, the cashew crunch is a favorite. I love the chocolate-covered pretzels and all those chocolate-covered fruits. You can have them shipped anywhere in the country. 5 locations in Collierville, in Germantown, Laurelwood, that's in East Memphis, Pleasant View, where they make the candies, and in downtown Memphis, putting smiles on people's faces for 122 years and growing. It's Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family. But hurry, the best pricing of the year ends May 31st. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
They're taking care of business in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56. This hour brought to you by Junior Sports. Once again, broadcasting by
Welcome back, everyone. 9:53 the time, our final few minutes here on this Wednesday edition of Sports 56 Morning. So again, tonight, 2 NBA playoff games where 2 series could wrap up. Boston and the New York Knicks. Jason Tatum, if you missed it yesterday, already had surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon. How much of next season will he miss? Maybe all of next season, but right now it's whether or not Boston can come back against the Knicks, Eli, and make this a series.
Don't like their chances without Jason Tatum.
They need Jaylen Brown to play like he did last year. He was the MVP. You have to have Kristaps Porzingis help you out somewhat. Derek White continue to hit threes. Even Drew Holiday hasn't played up to snuff. Pritchard has to be great off the bench. Look, they're at the Garden. They should be able to win Game 5, I would think. It's going to be almost impossible to win 3 straight against the Knicks. But if the Knicks get overconfident, get a little cocky, it's the fight of a champion. Let's see how much fight the Knicks or the Boston Celtics have. And then the other series, this one to me looks like it's over tonight. Minnesota, Golden State, Minnesota up 3-1. Game 5 in Minnesota at the Target Center. And Steph's already been ruled out. We don't know if Golden State wins and stays off elimination, whether or not he'll be able to go in Game 6. We know that they'll reevaluate him. And as tough as Jimmy Butler is, although he didn't have a great game in Game 4, I don't think he can will this team to win. I think the series is over tonight.
Yeah, I would guess both series come to an end tonight. And I don't think Golden State really has much of a chance without Steph in Minnesota.
All right, so you're going both series end tonight. I'm going Boston will stave off elimination, force a Game 6. Then I think the Knicks wrap it up. But I'm with you. Golden State tonight is toast. Minnesota moves on to the Western Conference Finals for a second straight year, just like Indiana has moved on in the East to the Eastern Conference Finals for a second straight year.
Former Cardinal, a lot of success with Cardinals. Matt Carpenter has announced his retirement. Cardinals and Yankees, Padres. Did he play anywhere else? I don't know if he probably.
Did he play a little with the White Sox? I might be mistaking him for somebody else.
I don't know if it was, he
played here in Memphis, obviously.
But certainly had some great years with the Cardinals. 3-time All-Star during his career, but he has officially announced his retirement. Speaking of, I guess, retirements, Malco has announced that the drive-in here this weekend, the last weekend for the drive-in.
That sucks. I mean, I love drive-ins. I always have. They're special. I used to bring the kids when they were small, when we first moved to Memphis, to the drive-in here. But, all things change, unfortunately. And the drive-in movie theater, I don't know how many are left in the country, but it can't be that many.
Yeah, I don't think it's very many. But yeah, this weekend, the final weekend before it closes. So if you want to go see a movie at the drive-in, you just got a few days left to do it.
Your last chance to jump in the trunk?
And I have no idea what movies are being shown, but it is the last weekend.
Should be the last picture show.
I couldn't tell you one thing about a movie that's at a theater right now. Is there another superhero thing coming out?
Thunderbolts, latest Marvel movie.
Yeah,
It's always the Marvel, the Marvel, the DC, and then of course Disney with their animated whatever. I'm telling you, they could put a movie together about animated poop, and that thing would gross like $20 billion. It does, as long as it talks and looks cute. That'll do it for us today. Want to thank DeMichael Cole, Josh Pastner, Steve Sands, and Parthu Pajai for joining us on the program. Again, just go to the website, check out our podcast. We break it down hourly, and we'll have some of these interviews as well on featured audio, so check it out at your leisure. Tomorrow, we're back starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Kerry Miller among our guests to talk some Major League Baseball. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next for Eli Savoy and for Elijah Seegers. I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everyone.